Our location may be different, but we can guarantee you one thing: chaos. Hello and welcome to The House That Happens, recorded live at Cruz's Chaos, the second place to be in suburban Etobicoke. Voted no times the only place to be in the GTA, but hey, we love it. Hi, I'm Andrew Milani.
Hi, my name is Cruz, and we just wanted to tell the world we just needed a little comfort, warmth, and Wi-Fi.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all we're looking for. However, we should point out to the world that one part of the reasons we're over here too is that there is actual construction going on at Chewy's, people. They are actually doing work, so not only we're not there, we're getting out of the way for the time being. But hey, man, we're like we always say, we're going to be there when from the ashes rises the phoenix.
Yep.
All good. How was your week, buddy?
Good, and I should point out we are still sponsored by Chewy's Bar and Grill, the only place to be in suburban Etobicoke. Voted 4 times the best dive bar in all the GTA, number 1 in our hearts.
Yes, 100%. Now, you got to understand here, we are in the Cruz's Chaos. Okay, you should just describe 1 minute when you look around this place. What do you think besides chaos?
Yeah.
You look around, it's chaos.
But you got 4 screens, a lot of guitars, a lot of bobbleheads, some
bottles.
Montreal Canadian, bottles.
Bottles, those bottles put in there. And we have our special guest.
Our mascot, Stanley.
Right now, he appears to be taking a nap, but anytime during this show, I'm sure he's going to find a moment to interrupt, so to speak, correct?
Or put something in his mouth that shouldn't be in there.
Real. That's Exhibit A. Exhibit A. But anyways, how was your week? Pretty good?
Not bad. Getting closer to Christmas time, so getting a little busy at work. It's starting to ramp up, and so it's going to be some chaos there, too, for the next month.
I bet you it is. It's going that everywhere at work. But we'd be remiss if we did not yell out to our good American friends that we hope they're celebrating a very happy Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, happy and safe Thanksgiving weekend.
Very happy and safe Thanksgiving, which just makes the scheduling of sports insane. That's why you need 4 screens, bro.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on yesterday, let me tell you. But
well, when I get my own place, I want to have a 3-screen setup. That's my goal.
3 screens is good, too.
A big one and then kind of like 2 small ones.
Like water, yeah, that could be good enough sometimes. Because like you say, people, we've only got a couple on now. Like you can't have 4 on all the time. But yesterday, the live games, I think it was around 3 o'clock, the live games, I was going to know. There was live games on till like 1 in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Just kept them rolling.
Or when it's like first night of the Stanley Cup playoffs,
Oh, that's the best.
Yeah.
But I will tell the world, I'm learning to master it. And a lot of people say that I am nuts. You can only watch 2 hockey games at a time. Hit the PVR and watch the other one later, which is what I do.
Well, I'm going to say you're nuts for putting the sound on for both of them.
I do, because I got
that's where you lose me.
Okay, because you're going back and forth, because the game's going. They tell you it's going fast, but when you're watching 2 games, you realize how fast it is. Or what's even better, I was watching Pittsburgh. Who did they play yesterday?
Boston.
Pittsburgh and Boston. I watched. And I watched Winnipeg and Vegas. You'd think it was 2 different sports if you had the games on side by side.
Yeah.
Because the way that the teams play, the quality of their style, you really get to see it when it's side by side, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
But I've mastered it.
There we go. That's all that matters. Any shutouts?
First of all, I just want to say on Tuesday night I went to the world-renowned Massey Hall to see the one and only Pat Metheny, one of one. All my muso friends, all my guitar people. He came out on stage with a whack of guitars, and it was masterclass in guitar playing. People online, people like Alex Lifeson was there.
Oh, wow.
People like Crown Lands was there. Everybody that was there moved. It was one man with his guitars, and he did have this really cool thing where he hit a button, and he all had this like AI percussion going off. And he got to play around that. And he got made fun of all the metal guys because he made all their noises on the acoustic guitar. That was cool. But big shout out to Pat Metheny. And it's out there for you to listen to. And he said since he was a kid, I think he's 72 now. Doesn't look it. Same color hair as mine, which is cool. One of the best hairs in the business. Same hair as mine. But he said how much he was a Beatles fan. And he ended a show with And I Love Her by the Beatles. And everyone knows that song. But when it's just done acoustically on guitar like that, one of the most beautiful pieces of music I've heard in a long time. Huge shout out to Pat Metheny.
We'd also like to extend a shout out to ESPN's Around the Horn, which just announced that it is ending. A show maybe that doesn't experience the high highs that it used to maybe 10 years ago, but still a big shout out and so long a farewell to one of the most iconic shows on ESPN.
I agree, and I'm going to miss Tony Reali. I hope they got something else for him to do, because after Max Kellerman got unceremoniously dumped, he's disappeared. He was one of my favorite people on TV. I hope Tony Reali keeps his profile up there. But the reason that a show like Around the Horn goes is because it gets diluted. Like, they're starting shows at, 9 in the morning? They're doing sports shows all day. So the same people get all around.
Yeah.
So by the time they get to the end, unless they get certain guys, like, I think they should have kept it to, like, the Woodies and Frank, what's his name, from Dallas, and a few of those guys. They should have kept it like that. But it got diluted, is what I think. Still an interesting show. Big shout out for Tony Reali for doing it for that long.
Absolutely. Shout out to Iga Swiatek, who got a 1-month doping ban for testing positive for trimetazidine, which is a heart medication that I guess is banned.
Okay, let's stop this shit, okay? This is just a joke. Oh, so she'll be eligible, 3 days before the Australian Open?
Yeah, basically.
And they want everyone to be there because they know that's the toughest draw of the year to get everyone to go to Australia. So let's just say this. What did she do? She got caught in the hall by the hall monitor. Now go have a detention?
Yeah, her hand got caught in the cookie jar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is a joke. It's the same with your buddy, even though I'm glad I won when Sinner, yeah. Like, come on, people. As soon as we hear you do something, you're doing something. So when you I haven't heard her come back. What it was? What'd you say? It's a heart medication?
It is a heart medication.
So what? Does she have like top fit athlete in the world, and she has a trembling heart? A condition. Don't know. I hope she's not. Please, I hope she has the perfect health on the planet. But come on, it's like the Blue Jay guy that said he needed for erectile dysfunction or something. Yeah. I don't know. Come on, people, stop it. We're dumb. We're not stupid. Anyways, the reason that I'm bringing this up is because it's like the hypocrisy.
Sure.
Or the idiocy of hypocrisy when you say you're going to do this and then you do that. Come on. Joke.
Yep. Shout out to the OHL for pursuing aggressive expansion, whatever that means.
Okay, I was kind of confused by that too, but then when you brought up the idea of Plymouth and Detroit returning into the league, and is Erie still in though?
Erie's in there, yeah.
Okay, so I think there was another team, now you think about it, somewhere along that line. What would be along the lake there? Toledo? No, something else, a little bit bigger.
Maybe somewhere like in Ohio?
Yeah, somewhere in Ohio they could pick it up because of Columbus, maybe they're not, Columbus shouldn't do it, but in any event, that's interesting because where would they expand in Canada?
Vaughan?
Oh, that's what I wanted you to hear, bro. I wanted you to hear. Now, let's tell the truth. Vaughan would be perfect.
I agree.
You know what I mean? A hockey hotbed. And you got a great arena there.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, what does it seat?
It's probably enough for like an OHL team, like a few thousand, right? That's all you need.
They were going to build it bigger, but then when they found out they weren't going to get the NHL, they dropped the size, right? Because it was originally supposed to be a 16.5 when they brought up the one in Vaughan. And then
that's too big, but...
Yeah, but at the time they were going to be. Sorry,
I shouldn't have distracted you.
Okay, yeah. In any event, what we're saying, Vaughan would be perfect. It's a hockey hotbed. How many ex-NHLers live within?
Oh, ton of NHLers settle in Vaughan.
Okay, so like just say we are at the Vaughan Arena and you had to go 10 kilometers, let's say 15 kilometers in any direction. How many ex-NHLers would you find?
Oh,
two teams?
You'd have trouble not finding one.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. And that's pretty cool. So that means the support for hockey there would be immense, and they would have those guys there putting it in. I think Vaughan's books financially, because you'd have to look at that, like the leasing, what the city's going to say and all that. Vaughan would welcome in a minute.
I would think so.
Let's keep our eyes on that, and good luck.
Absolutely. Good luck. Great luck.
Yes.
Shout out to the NCAA college football playoffs, which gets more and more interesting by the week.
By the second.
By the second, even, yes.
By the second.
It looks like the way it's settling in, we will get a combination of 7 SEC and Big Ten teams making the tournament, which is kind of what people thought from the beginning.
Okay, so I'm having trouble with this, okay? The criterion's getting based on football, and some of it's based on analytics, okay? So what's confusing me is because all these teams in the SEC are playing each other, they don't let anybody in the door, and they say everybody else is weak. However, when you got the teams in the other conferences losing at the top, then it takes away their scheduling strength, and we got like a team like the ACC. Remember before when Miami was undefeated? There was a possibility there could have been 2 ACC teams now.
Well, I think there is going to be still 2 ACC teams making it. They're the only other conference that's going to get 2.
So who's going to be the other team you think is going to make it?
I think it's just going to be whoever makes their conference championship.
The 2 teams will go? That's interesting, and we'll get Boise State and everything else in the Big Ten.
It's probably going to come down to Miami and SMU.
Oh, right. I forgot about SMU. Both of those teams are going in.
Clemson, I think, is going to be the unfortunate number 13 seed.
Yeah, no, they won't get in. I forget, because everybody, keep your eye on SMU. This is the beginning of them coming back to be the powerhouse they were when I was your age or younger. They're coming back in a big way.
Okay.
Because if they win the championship, you can't let Miami fall out because they've been
too good.
Too good for too long. Only a 2-loss team, and they're going to get in there. Now, my heart bleeds purple piss for the following teams. LSU, Alabama, Ole Miss. Sorry, you guys lost a bunch of games. You got to go and just
South Carolina.
So they were good, but I thought they were going to sneak in because they're not one of those supposedly blue bloods. And just to tell you, speaking of blue bloods, Indiana was the cat's ass a week ago. They ran into Ohio State in their house, and guess what? Now they're an afterthought already. After being a 10-0 team.
Yeah, they fell to number 10.
Yeah, we're 1-0. They lose one game in Columbus against arguably maybe the best team in the country. And where do they go? You're nothing. Get out of here.
They're still going to make the tournament, though.
I believe they're going to, of course. But look what, and and everybody bashed them. Strength of schedule. Remember, everything strength of schedule. Oh, Indiana's got this and that. I was cheering for Indiana like a mofo, to tell you the truth. And when they scored the first touchdown, I was going, this is interesting. They might even cover the spread. Because if they had covered the spread, it would have been a different story. But no, after that, Ohio State just punked them. And look what happens in your rankings. You were Cinderella. Hit midnight.
Well, what about Army? They're off the rankings completely after getting smashed by Notre Dame.
They were extinct when the gun went off. You know what I mean? They were extinct immediately. And there was all the talk all week. And everybody was cheering for them for a sentimental value and all that great Americana shit to go with it. And that's kind of cool.
And they're underdogs, too.
And they were underdogs. I was hoping to beat them just because it was Notre Dame. That's good enough for me, man. Because, I had to say Notre Dame and Ohio State in 1 minute. I have to go to confession. As soon as this show's over, I'm going straight to confession. I had to do Notre Dame. I won't say it again. But anyways, we will keep our eye on this. It's going to be quite interesting. And I think it's going to be a completely... By the time we get there, because of what, one more week? Is this the last week?
This is the last week of the regular season. Then conference champions are going to be, next weekend?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
They started like that. That's because now, big shout out, and you can see my shirt on today. Can you tell everybody what I am wearing?
Michigan football.
Because today we have the biggest, arguably, rivalry in college football, arguably one of the biggest rivalry in all of sports, where my beloved Michigan Wolverines, go blue, have to go to Columbus, where the coach, what's his name, Gray, I forget. Anyways, he's never beaten Michigan. Go blue. I'm hoping for the best. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, because I know what happens in these rivalry games when the other team gets the chance to bitch slap the other team. So, boys, just show up, be proud, be blue. I'll love you forever anyway.
Well, the spread went down. They're only favored by 19.5 now, Ohio State.
Shut up.
Number 2 ranked Ohio State.
Let's talk about nicer stuff than that. Just that my coffee just tasted funny here and that. I didn't even look at the spread. Someone, did you see the spread from the game? No, I didn't see the spread. I didn't look at it. I didn't want to know.
Also, shout out to the number 2 ranked in back-to-back defending national champions for college basketball, UConn, losing 3 in a row. They lost 99-97 against Memphis, 73-72 against Colorado, and 85-67 against Dayton.
That's just insane. Now, Mr. Hurley's probably losing his mind, but that's okay because he says sometimes that this is how you build it along the way. But 3 losses already, then they shouldn't even be in the top 20 if that's how colleges work. But people tell you the truth. All these games are tournament games. Like
in Hawaii.
Some are in Puerto Rico. They have all these tournaments. So some teams are gunning for other teams. Those are the time you get the upsets. And I think that UConn will be fine. And nothing really matters until almost the end of December anyway, because these are all non-conference games and invitation games, where Kentucky gets to invite Milani State to their house and beat them by 40, shit like that.
Appalachian State.
Yeah, like all that kind of stuff's going down. But this is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
3 in a row, I was shocked. Like the first time was a last-second buzzer beater. I think they got beat by one game. Or a foul or something. And the other game, like they came back, but they just didn't get there. And the fouls, they lost by a few. Like, it's not that they're getting blown out or anything. It's just
no, but you could argue those games shouldn't even be that close to begin with.
Dayton, I give Dayton the time of day.
No, well, Dayton beat them by 18, but I'm talking about losing by 2 points to Memphis and losing by 1 point to Colorado.
Okay, Memphis is going to be a good team. They're top 25.
Colorado, though?
I don't know. It's too early in the year. Memphis, I'll give some time of day. But we will keep our eye on that. As college football fades away, we'll keep a little eye on college basketball. Not that I'm a big fan of that sport in any way, but we will. And we'll discuss the first 10 top 10 when the show before Christmas, because college basketball is the same thing. Team wins on Monday, loses on Wednesday. The rankings go. Brrr, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think Mr. Hurley will get it together, and we'll see UConn. Let's talk in January.
We'll see. Going for number 3. The team hasn't three-peated since UCLA. Was it the 60s?
Yeah, late. And I think they won 5 in a row or something. I don't know.
8.
Or whatever. 8 and 11 years, I think.
But there was one stretch where they won like 7 in a row or something.
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
Yeah.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar won 3 in a row when he was Lou Alcindor. And here's the even funny part. Back in those days, you couldn't play if you were a freshman.
Yeah.
You had to play in the freshman
You
squad.
couldn't dunk either, which is why Kareem had to do the skyhook.
Yeah, so let's put it this way. So Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Lou Alcindor at the time, could have had 4 national championships. Which will never happen in our lifetime. No one's ever going to do it. But he could have had 4 national championships. He's got 3 because that's all he was allowed to play.
That's crazy.
Isn't it?
Any other shout-outs?
I think that I want to do... First of all, I thought a hilarious thing I seen on McAfee the other day, because we're going to go to Formula One there. And McAfee's not a big Formula One guy.
G1, he calls it.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, it's pretty funny because he said he's got irritated because he was watching the game and he kept seeing, when there's a flag in the football, the screen goes to yellow.
Yeah, he's brought that up a couple times, yeah.
It's just hilarious. I go, what I know?
Yeah, the breaking news is like a yellow thing at the bottom of the screen. It's like it thinks it's a flag.
Where's the flag in the play? Yeah, that's hilarious. I thought that was kind of humorous because that's kind of McAfee's humor anyway, so it's kind of cool. But I want to do the anti-shout out because we want to put a period on this once and for all. All these shows we watch when we're sports junkies, it is great. But we want to talk about the things that are pertinent, who's winning, proper narratives. Just don't keep shoving us things down our throat. But one of the reasons I'm not watching First Take as much as I usually used to, the other day, Mr. Milani, they started the show, first block. I was fast forwarding, of course, because it was on the PVR. 25 minutes about the Dallas Cowboys.
Why? Just why?
Okay, I know they have the mad following, blah, 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 blah.
But your leadoff story?
Leadoff, 25 minutes.
No, it's ridiculous.
Absolutely. So sometimes...
That's something you do for like the end of the show or like some point in the middle or whatever.
They're always going to bring up certain shit in that show because it drives narratives that ESPN likes to bring up. Like the Joel Embiid thing, that just keeps on rolling. You know what I mean? Stuff like that to keep it going. But when it's not irrelevant, when they're irrelevant. Now Dallas has won 2 in a row. What are we going to get them? Lunch, dinner, and supper next week? Stop it. The Cowboys are irrelevant. We're not even going to talk about them on the show.
We are not. Any other shoutouts?
No, I think we're good.
Okay. We will move this along to one of our favorites here at the House That Happens, Formula One, where last weekend we had the Vegas Grand Prix. George Russell, Lewis Hamilton, Carlos Sainz on podium. Leclerc and Verstappen complete the top 5. It is now the first time in F1 history with 7 multiple race winners in 1 year. But, of course, not to bury the lead, Max Verstappen captures his 4th Drivers' Championship in a row. Maybe his most impressive since he basically dragged the car to the finish line the second half of the season.
100%. And that's my boy Max. Congratulations. 4 times in a row. I think he's not done.
No, of course not.
He's way too young. Everybody knows how I feel about Max on this show because he's my favorite guy. He was my athlete of the year last year. My favorite villain, but the anti-villain. You know what I mean? You know what he's kind of getting like? He's kind of like now I'm thinking Clint Eastwood in the spaghetti westerns. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like an anti-hero.
The anti-hero guy, because he's pretty cool, and he justifies it when he does a Heineken commercial.
Yeah.
So we'll just put it down there. The most impressive thing I thought about the race last weekend was Mercedes. Racing around the track, top 2 spots. Away they go, which took points away.
Well,
from
and Hamilton started in 10th place too, and to take that over to second place was impressive.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like the car was running really well, which kept the constructors' standings a little bit tighter because I thought Ferrari was going to get more out of the weekend than they did.
Well, I mean, they still got big points over McLaren, so they inched that much closer, right?
Okay,
they're within striking distance.
Yes, they are, and it's you don't know who won the sprint. So
I did see.
Okay, so anyway,
we'll talk a little bit about that later.
But in any event, we've talked about this narrative a million times. The bottom line is McLaren should have already won this constructor standings things if they had done.
Lando should have been a lot closer for the driver's title,
and he
too.
should have been a lot closer than that. He should have been going down the last couple of races. There's only 2 races left now, right?
Yeah, Qatar and Abu Dhabi.
I like this Qatar track, by the way.
I love it. It's the best one in the Middle East.
Is it? Yeah, I really like the way it's laid out. There's lots of room to move. Good things that are happening. Look at the sprint race. It was great.
Yeah.
It was a nice little run there. We're going to see qualifying this afternoon, right?
It is.
Yeah, so that should be quite interesting. But shout out to the Mercedes team for coming in 1 and 2. Our boy, Mr. Gasly, keeps making some noise, but he just doesn't.
Well, his car sucks. Straight up.
But he, in qualifying shit, he's banging on the door.
Oh, he's great.
Yeah, okay.
He's great.
But
if Alpine can pull their socks up a little bit, Gasly's going to be in great position. But for now,
Okay, that's what I was saying. So I heard your boy, Mr. Andretti, is combining with Gio.
Well, hold on. Let's do a little bit more about Vegas. So what'd you think of Zach Brown's radio message? Did you hear this at all during the race? So they talked to him in the middle of the race, and they were talking about how Hamilton was basically slowing down the Ferraris and what he thought for that. And like he basically, and he said straight up, like, "Go, Lewis, go." I'm like, well, that's a weird message to throw out there.
Oh, I understood when he was saying that. I didn't get it till after the race because they actually questioned him
about that,
and he kind of backed off from it. Like, there's humor in this. Oh, we could have done better. The usual Zach, whatever. But they probed him about a couple of things that he had been saying about what he was saying about the interference and stuff. And then he acted all cowboy about it. The Zach Brown cowboy move, like so. But in any event, I really thought that Ferrari was going to get even more than they did, so that would be closer to the last 2 races, because you guys got to have a big weekend now in order for the last weekend to be viable. You know what I'm saying? Because this time last year, everything was over.
Oh, yeah.
It was long over, which
long
makes
over.
it. So is there anything wrong with the fact that we had 7 different winners in 1 year?
No, I love that.
Okay, cool.
I just think it makes also things a little bit more embarrassing for Sergio Perez.
Oh, they're going to buy out his contract. Do you think
they have to?
I think it's going to be there. Yeah, like that's the word around the camp.
The big thing is, like, there's no real good answer for Red Bull for a replacement option right now. Because really, they have 3 options, if you ask me. It's either Yuki Tsunoda, Liam Lawson, or Franco Colapinto. And all 3, like, Tsunoda, they don't seem to like. He crashes the car a lot. Lawson doesn't have the experience. Colapinto doesn't really have the experience. You're going to shove one of those 2 guys right away in Red Bull? Maybe. I would give the advantage right now to Colapinto just because of what he's done in less time, in a worse car than Tsunoda and especially Liam Lawson.
Good point.
And he's outracing Albon, his teammate there.
That's true too. It's interesting. I don't know that it's going to shake down by January.
Sure. Well, I mean, it has to.
Yeah, they're going to have the shakedown.
But
by
still,
January.
there's no great answer for Red Bull, and there's really no one to blame but themselves here. They fucked themselves over.
No, that's everybody understands that completely. One of the things though that when we're bringing it up about drivers and their performances, didn't Mr. Gasly break his streak in Vegas about damaging the car? He clipped something, didn't he?
Did he clip something?
Very, very minor. And then I don't know if it was on the radar, but that someone brought it up and they said, was it a jinx or whatever? But I don't know if it would go against it because I think it would just scrape something, like when they took a file to it, like with something. But you could classify it as.
Well,
I'm going,
just clipping your wing. That's just like.
Yeah, that's what I said too. Like that's not split hairs on it. You know what I'm saying?
It's not like you destroyed the engine or anything.
No. There was a couple of bad. Who didn't our buddy Stoll do something stupid? Stroll, didn't he do something stupid?
Oh my god, like every week.
And what was the guy that went into the wall and wrecked the car? What's his name? I forget. Came around and he just lost control and slipped.
In Vegas?
In Vegas, yeah. In the qualifying.
Oh, in qualifying. Oh shit.
Remember, come around the corner?
Yeah.
He looked like he was doing fine. Clipped the front of the curb thing and boom, car was done. And they were just saying, like, you know what? That's like Lego, eh? They have a truck full of parts. Yeah. They said, back together tomorrow. And I'm looking at the car going, really? That looks like severe damage, which gets back to your thing we're talking about Red Bull next year. You're right. A lot of resources that they've already pulled out of their ass for this season is
so they're going to be behind the 8 ball already next year. So they might get off to a hot start, but you got to wonder down the stretch how that's going to affect them.
100%. I'll be cheering for Max anyway. He's got 2 years left on his contract, correct?
Yeah, but if they're not competitive next year, he's going to pull the chute.
Because he's got the out, right?
Of course he does.
Yeah, 27 years old. Come on.
But McLaren, I'm a little bit worried for them. They have not looked good ever since their back wing got banned there. The one with when they kind of like moved and manipulated, basically like.
You're right. Since that came in, all of a sudden things got in flux. Interesting.
Absolutely.
I forgot about that.
But Ferrari just 24 points behind a McLaren, and the only other race is Haas getting 4 points to help them leapfrog Alpine for 6th place by 1 point. Mm-hmm. And then Red Bull 2 is behind by 3 points of Alpine. So a big battle for 6th place there. Millions of dollars on the line.
Just going to say, and I'm cheering for you, Gasly, only because I just like you as a driver, but it's jammed up pretty good.
Yeah.
I've heard from most people that talk about the racing in the business, because I'm really an amateur when it comes to this shit, but the bottom line is everybody was saying, that's why I asked you your take on it. A lot of people are happy there's 7 winners this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because multiple race winners.
Multiple race winners too, because what it does is it raises your fan base.
Yep.
You know what I mean? By this time last year, only the diehards. Well, no, if you're watching F1, you're going to watch F1. But I'm saying
there's only 3 race winners last year.
There you go. Yeah, okay.
And one guy won 21 times.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So you know what I'm talking about, bringing the fan base up? So it was a good thing. I enjoyed it. I'm just glad that Max won.
Yeah. So Qatar, we mentioned the race and sprint this weekend. Oscar Piastri won the sprint earlier today. It's Abu Dhabi next week, the finale. And then, of course, GM Cadillac going to be the 11th team on the grid in 2026. They're going to be running Ferrari engines for the first 2 years, it looks like. But then 2028, they will have their own engine program in place.
That's pretty damn cool, isn't it? It wasn't Andretti involved with them?
The company that he owns,
right?
No. The company that he owns is still like the major backer, but he's kind of like hands off now. It looks like. But
I wonder why.
Well, yeah, because what we talked about this, F1 doesn't have time for him, and for somewhat good reason.
Yes, okay, I agree. You know what I mean? You should know when to hold them, when to fold them.
Yeah,
he was one of those.
Like he was doing some goofy things. Like last year, he was trying to get the other teams to sign a petition to like let him on. And
come on,
that's really silly.
High school shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stop it.
But the interesting thing is they're obviously going to want an American driver on the grid. So who's that going to be? Colton Herta in IndyCar looks like he will be the top option. He was 2nd place in Indy last year. As long as he finishes top 4 in Indy this year, he will have enough points for a super license, and he can even earn more by test driving in an F1 car next year. So that's not out of the question at all.
I don't even know the guy.
Young American stud.
Okay, but you're right. They're going to want an American driver.
At least one. Maybe they might want 2. Like Joseph Newgarden in IndyCar is another guy. Multiple Indy champion. He won the Indy 500 2 times as well.
That's true.
So he's got the pedigree. There's rumors about Ricardo. I hope that's not true. I think that would be throwing. Nah, he's washed.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that might just be some clickbait. But the big question is this going to be Ford Jaguar 2.0? I don't know if you remember this, but in 2000, Ford backed. They basically bought the Jackie Stewart team. They turned it into a Jaguar team. Everyone thought it was going to be this like, oh my God, watch out, Jaguar Ford in F1, but it ended up being a big flop.
Oh, okay. Okay, the team failed?
They were awful.
Oh, God.
They were awful.
Well, you don't know until you get the car on track.
Exactly.
You know
and
I mean,
everyone expects it to be slow at first, but you got to have that like 5-year plan, right?
Oh, 100%. You know, especially when you're talking F1. You know what I mean? With the development, you're going to need that time. But I mean, if they come out there and competitive right away, let's see what they got. And GM's backing them, so.
A lot of money.
Lots and lots of money. And that's how F1 works. Lots and lots of money.
They're obviously trying to capitalize on the American popularity, but like,
yes,
I'm still going to be a Haas guy.
Okay.
They're the OG American team for me.
Oh, yeah. For a while, the family. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That goes back a ways. But you know what it is? It's just the culture of America that gets away from F1. Like, they can be happy with NASCAR at times.
Nah, NASCAR's dying.
Is it?
Yeah.
So what's wrong with that?
NASCAR needs to like just rethink everything. I have some ideas, NASCAR, if you're listening. Hire me. I can fix your sport.
Okay, well, sometimes when I see NASCAR, I think it's a WWE of racing.
Well, there's too much stupid shit. Like, there's way too many of the short tracks, which aren't as exciting. I get some of the historical ones, like have the dirt races there, fine. But for me, like the rest should be like the super speedways, like the really big and fast ones.
Michigan
I'm fine with
400.
500, yeah. Keep that in there. Find a way to get because Indianapolis isn't on the calendar every year. Find a way to get that in there constantly. And I'd go with more road courses, like do the Toronto Indy track. I think that'd be great for NASCAR.
Wow, interesting.
Because it's good they can bump into each other with less space. That's like do more street circuits. I think that'd be great.
Interesting. I never thought about it like that, but those guys just like to go around like they're that extrinsical force. That's enough talk about NASCAR.
Centripetal force.
Yeah.
Centripetal force, yeah.
Yeah, whatever the case.
Right?
That's enough. Don't need to talk about them anymore. You know what I mean? I'm just like I'm very fascinated by the whole. The more I watch it, the more fascinated I am about F1 because we always say, "What's the highest level of competition?" That's one, undoubtedly.
Yeah.
You know, and those that sneer at it are just those that just haven't. It's not their cup of tea.
No, you should check out Indy next summer too. But well, it's American open wheel racing, basically same thing, different flavor.
There was a Detroit Grand Prix for a while, wasn't there?
F1 used to race there. I don't know about Indy.
Yeah, F1 used to race there.
Yeah, Michigan, yeah.
I wonder why it went away. Money. Yeah.
We'll move this over to Major League Baseball, where the Dodgers made another big splash, signing Blake Snell to a 5-year contract worth $182 million. So was that just over $35 million a year?
Blue Jays. Okay, we're gonna make this quick and short. Again, like I said last week, I can't turn on the TV with one insider saying, last 3 people in the room got their poker in the fire. Long conversations. Notice they were there 2 hours with somebody at a fancy restaurant. I don't want to hear that shit anymore. That's Snell gone already. Go get Corbin Burns.
Well, we knew they weren't going to get Snell. That would have been too much money. But
oh, no, come on. You're Rogers. You should get anyway. But the word around the campfire.
I don't like paying pitchers big money like that, though.
Someone's got to do it. Anyways, he wanted to go West Coast.
I don't want it to be the Blue Jays.
He wanted to go West Coast anyway.
That's fine.
Because he was at San Francisco before. Corbin Burns will go anyway. And who am I missing? The third guy? The third big starter? I'm losing my mind. I had him written down here somewhere. In any event, go out and get one of them now. Okay? And they seem to be in on, how do you say his name? Willie Adames. They seem to be hot on his trail.
Good. Throw him at third base.
He's my one guy I would go after. And I know they're on the poker for the reliever that got traded to San Diego. Tanner, whatever his name is. But we're going to be really quick and sweet on this. The bottom line is, Rogers, you got money. There's only supposed to be 2 suitors left now for Juan Soto.
And the Jays aren't one of them, are they?
Is this Groundhog Day?
No, come on. They're saying 2 suitors?
They said basically they believe there's only 2 serious suitors.
Are they saying who?
Toronto, they
who's the other one?
Yankees.
Really?
That's what they say it's down there. I thought the Mets are in there, so could tomorrow if the Mets sign him.
Don't be surprised if the Mets sign him tomorrow.
I was just exactly. I said, when I heard that, I said, is this Groundhog Day? And like I said, well, tomorrow Cohen will come out in a conference, one of those funky jackets he has, and there's Juan Soto beside him. Would I be shocked?
No, you can't be.
No, not at all. So that's what I'm saying. I just sign somebody. Give us some hope. I'm tired of hearing like, this is like the... what are you going to say? My favorite thing. We're told the leprechaun will be riding the unicorn. It'll be in your driveway in the morning. I look out the window every day. It's never there. So Toronto, sign somebody. I'm tired of hearing the rumors. I'm tired of hearing the hot stove. Because I do look up. But it's starting to be Peter and the Wolf time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When
the boy who cried wolf.
Or the boy who cried wolf. Whatever I'm saying. Yeah, it's starting to get like that to me. Because my ears perk up. And I go, sign somebody. You know what I mean? And we signed 3 guys. Shit could happen.
We'll see. Well, it depends on what guys too,
and
right?
what guys, of course.
We will move this along to our soccer report, and we are starting not with Europe, but with our feet in the ground here in Canada, where Canada rose to number 31 in the FIFA World Rankings, their highest ever spot. So
congrats.
That's very exciting. See, it doesn't help us get to any World Cups or anything, but definitely cool nonetheless.
Yeah, I know. A higher profile for starters.
For sure.
And you know what? We should also mention, didn't we just dump the coach?
Yes, that was my next thing. Well, he didn't get dumped. John Herdman stepped down as the manager of TFC.
Okay, yeah. Why? Because he's getting out of the picture completely.
Well, I mean, like, I think that speaks to how much of a mess TFC is behind the scenes as well. They just canned the president, right? He was also president of Argos. TFC is a bigger mess than we thought.
Okay, so someone knocked on his door and said, "Can we see in your closet?" And he said, "Listen, I got to get out of here." Okay, that's how I read it. As soon as I heard he was resigning,
What,
I
because
went,
the Soccer Canada stuff?
Yeah, like
No, but that wouldn't affect him. He's like he worked for MLSE now.
Okay, but that's why I say you run, you hide, you get out of there. Shit gets out. You know, sometimes you get out the back door, you don't know that you started the fire. You can be long run down the road, right? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I smell. I hope I'm wrong, but when you just, you know what I mean? I'm not Inspector Clouseau here, but when I start connecting the dots, I start going, you know, things that make you go, So, anyways.
Well, I just took it as TFC's not a desirable situation.
I took it more than that because
the Italians are too much to handle.
We can add that too. Because there was some scuttlebutt about that, about his.
Oh, Insigne and Bernadeschi don't get along.
Okay, and
that's well known.
And not only that, he said one of the reasons he's left is because he was saying he doesn't know how they're going to allot the money. What's Toronto FC going to do with the money? Because they got some money, they can get some guys. They're going to pick the right guys.
Their international slots are already taken, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, but your point being that was alluded to. I don't want to be.
Yeah.
Kind of deal. Anyway, we wish him luck. I hope the closet stays shut. And I don't, you know what I mean? This is alleged. Everything's alleged. He didn't do anything wrong.
Nope.
Okay.
We'll move this. Well, we'll still keep it in soccer. We'll look across Europe. So I'm going to look league to league, and then it was the Champions League week. So we'll get to that as well.
Yes, it was.
In the Premier League, Manchester City fell to Tottenham 4-0 at home. Arsenal topped Nottingham Forest 3-0. Chelsea beat Leicester City 2-1. Liverpool wins 3-2 at Southampton. Now, Liverpool is 8 points ahead of Man City for first place, and second to fifth, which is Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Brighton, all within 1 point. So maybe first places kind of work their way ahead, but the rest of it's airtight for those last Champions League spots.
I like that.
In Serie A, Napoli, the league leaders beat Roma 1-0. Inter won 5-0 at Verona. Juve gets a 0-0 draw at Milan, and the top top five teams, Napoli, Atalanta, Inter, Fiorentina, and Lazio, all within 1 point of each other. Yeah. Basically, Napoli's got 29, the rest there got 28. And then Juve and Milan, not too far behind them as well. So Serie A, maybe the most exciting this year out of all those national leagues in Europe.
But we're only halfway through the schedule, right? Not even, yeah. So that's pretty tight. In the middle of the pack there.
Yeah.
So a lot of good games. I want to shout out to Matt Kern and just to let him know that on this show, and my accomplice here, Mr. Milani, doesn't always agree, but the question is Liverpool the best team in Europe right now?
Right
in
now,
the world?
yes.
Best club, he agrees. So there you go. Mr. Kern, my accomplice, has agreed with you. Liverpool is the best team over Barcelona.
Right now.
Right now. We got a ways to go.
Are they peaking too early, though? That's what happened to them 2 years ago. Everyone thought they'd win the quad, but then I think they only won the domestic cups, and that was it.
And then they fell off.
Yeah, they lost the Champions League final, and they lost the Premier League in the last week.
Wow.
Yeah. In La Liga, Barcelona got a 2-2 draw at Celta Vigo, and Real Madrid won 3-0 at Leganes. Real Madrid now pulls within 4 points of Barca for first. In Bundesliga, Leverkusen won over Heidenheim 5-2. Patrick Schick with a hat trick, the only hat trick of last week.
Yep.
Bayern won 3-0 over Augsburg. Now Bayern has a 6-point lead over Eintracht Frankfurt for first. And also Harry Kane got a hat trick in that Bayern win, and he became the fastest player to reach 50 goals in the Bundesliga in just 43 appearances.
That's pretty damn good, isn't it? That's why he's making the money.
Of course.
He's what, is he top 5 contract in the world right now?
He has to be. But he kind of falls apart in big games, but either
way.
Really? Yeah.
I've never seen that.
RB Leipzig is now 8 points out of first place. We talked about them being a contender. They were tied with Bayern just a few weeks ago. Yeah. Now they're sitting in third. Looks like their championship chances are lowering by the day. In Ligue 1, PSG won over Toulouse 3-0, and now they have a 6-point lead over Monaco for first.
They're solid.
But the big one, Champions League. Manchester City blew a 3-0 lead versus Feyenoord. They finished the game 3-3. Manchester City 0-4-1 in the month of November. And they lost their EFL round of 16 match before that. So 0-5-1 stretch. Horrible stretch for Man City. They were looking like the best team in England, maybe in Europe, just a month ago, but now things
like about
falling apart
5-6
quickly.
weeks ago. Yes, I wonder what they're saying in the dressing room.
I wonder what the fans are saying.
Oh, that's an old school group, man. That's an old school group. That's not the hoity-toities that run around after Manchester United. These are people of the street. Like, that streak is unbelievable, considering the streak they were running on before that.
Yep.
And I'm kind of cheering for those guys. You know what I mean? Noel, Liam, get out to some games. Get them going.
Oh,
again.
they're at the games.
Oh, I know. Get them out there. And they showed one look on. One recently, that look on Noel's face at one of the games, and he looked like that's warmed over. Like it was, one of the things from the 3-0 game. Yeah. I think he was there, wasn't he? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
One of those games that they did something weird, but that's weird. 0-4-1 in November. Woo!
Yeah, winless over a whole month. Milan beat SK Slovan Bratislava 3-2. Now they've won their last 3 Champions League matches. Lewandowski scores 2 in a 3-0 dominating Barca win over Brest for their 4th Champions League win in a row.
Yep.
Now Lewandowski becomes the 3rd player to score 100 goals in Champions League after Ronaldo and Messi, so that's some pretty good company to be in.
Yeah. They're the only 2 that scored 100?
Before him, yeah.
Ronaldo and Messi. Nobody.
And now Lewandowski.
And Lewandowski. Wow. How come he doesn't get more press?
Because he's Polish.
Oh, boo.
Yeah.
I like him more now.
Yeah, he used to play. He was the big boy for Bayern for plenty of years. One of the greats all time. PSG now in trouble as they lost 1-0 at Bayern. Bayer Leverkusen beat RB Salzburg 5-0. Inter beat RB Leipzig 1-0 for their 4th Champions League win in a row. They stay undefeated. Atalanta won at Young Boys 6-1 to stay undefeated in Champions League, making Young Boys look like Young Boys.
Yes.
Atletico
6-1.
Yeah. Oh. On the road, too.
Yeah.
Atletico Madrid won at Sparta Prague 6-0. Arsenal wins at Sporting CP 5-1. Liverpool stays perfect, beating Real Madrid 2-0. Madrid also in danger of not advancing. We'll get to a little bit about that later. Wilfred Singo on Monaco gets a red card against Benfica. They allow 2 in the final 10 minutes, fall 2 for their first loss in Champions League. Huge loss there for Monaco. Dortmund won 3-0 at Dynamo Zagreb. And if you look at the standings now, Liverpool in first place. They have a nice
best
little
team
lead.
in Europe.
Yep. Inter, Barcelona, Dortmund, and Atalanta round out the top 5. And in case you forgot, it basically comes down to the top 8 get a bye automatically to the next round. So it's also Bayer, Arsenal, and Monaco sitting in there. And after that, the next 16 teams have to have a play-in for those final 8 spots. And as it stands now, Real Madrid in that final play-in spot, PSG, they're outside it looking in now, that 25th spot.
Whoa. Your favorites, PSG.
Yes. And RB Leipzig, we talked about them before as a contender for Bundesliga, 0-5 in Champions League. So
not as good as we thought they were.
No.
That's
definitely not helping their record. Even a team like Juventus, 2-1, they're back there now. Tied actually with Manchester City, kind of in the middle of the pack, that messy middle there. I still think they make it through to the play-in, but might be a little bit too late for them to advance to that top 8. With only 3 game days remaining.
There's only 3 left?
Yes, in the opening round.
Tight. That's going to be very tight.
Last match day before the new year is December 10th and 11th.
Oh, cool.
And then we have 2 more match days in January, and then after that, it's playoff time.
Wow. Moves quickly.
Moves very quickly.
I want to keep my eye on things because the Liverpool, Man City, Barcelona, and what's the other one that you just said won all those games?
Inter?
Yeah, they're all rising up. I'm going to keep my eye on them because we weren't always talking about these guys a little while ago. Like at the beginning of the season, I think you were one that says that Liverpool could have been very good there, but they're outside looking in.
Mm-hmm.
But they've risen up to be
very much so.
There you go. Good luck, Liverpool.
Good luck.
And Man City, get your shit together. Come on, okay, please? I don't like cheering for losers. I've done that for too long.
Okay. We'll move this on to the NBA, where the Raptors finally got a big win against at a broken New Orleans team, I should say, 119-93, although they lost last night to Miami, putting their play-in chances still in a little bit of trouble. Now they are 3.5 games out of that 10th seed. Not looking good, chasing Detroit.
Okay, wait a second here. Let's just talk about the Raptors for a second. They're way better than everyone expected, and they don't even have their full lineup back up. You know what I mean? They just got to learn how to close. You see the Miami game? Game was tied with 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
Or 8 minutes left. No, third quarter. They fell apart in the third quarter, and they couldn't get it back on. I really like the way this team is playing. They're tenacious as hell. I wish they had the bona fide finisher, but R.J. Barrett looks like if he keeps growing the way that he is with Scotty behind him, like Scotty's already had a triple-double since he's been back.
Yeah.
Now, look at this. We didn't have Graydon Dick in the lineup for that game, and we didn't have Quickly. So imagine we're going to get those.
And Bruce Brown has yet to play a single minute, hasn't he?
And Bruce Brown. So I want to shout out to like that Abigail guy, Mitchell, all these guys, Boucher, and everybody's playing defense on the Raptors. But before we go on talking any more about the NBA, let's just talk about...
not to mention Olynyk hasn't played a single minute
and
either.
Olynyk hasn't played either. Yeah, it's just a litany of people that aren't with us, okay? So, and you know what? They've lost... How many games have they played?
20, and they've lost 15.
Okay, and out of those 15, nine they've lost by 5 points or less. 2 in overtime, 1 to the defending champions, okay? But now that we're going to talk about the NBA for a second here, let's just talk about the reality of the situation, because they shouldn't even have started the season till now. But we're going to discuss your theory on what they should be doing with this stupid Emirates Cup and all that freaking shit they want to talk about. But right now,
NBA Cup.
NBA Cup, whatever it is, play for it. Remember, they're all racing in the room, and the guy from Sopranos says, and the card says, play for it. That's a nice little drama here, but let's just get okay. You know why it's not popular? I'm going to tell you why. Too many threes early in the shot clock.
Yeah.
Too much bitching at the ref. Everybody makes a shot. They all become badasses, okay? Then what's really making me crazy, you dribble to the heart of the key and you throw it back out to the perimeter so you can clang another 3 of the 60 that you were throwing through the game, so it gets deplorable to watch. Okay, so first of all, what the players should do, they should, you know what I'm doing? I'm calling the NBA. Every time that guy looks at you and goes like this, that's everybody, including my beloved Scotty Barnes, Freddie Van Fleet got fined again. Freddie's just getting bad with the referees. Like, the more he goes, like, I love you, Freddie, because Houston's...
Well, he's always been bad with the referees.
Oh, he's just getting worse. And a couple times he's right, and a couple times I just think he's an instigator, okay? But that's not my point. People are watching this stuff. Let's just add it all up. You're throwing 63s a game. If you're shooting at 30%, you're looking ugly. If you're trying to catch up and you're shooting them at 20 seconds in the shot clock, how many times we say makes the game ugly? Then when a guy throws his hands up in front of you, you're looking at the ref for a call. And then the rest of the time, you're running down the thing, shooting your arm like you're a junkie at Wreckers Park. Stop it.
Oh, my God.
You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, but the ice vein, remember? Everybody's badass. Got ice in my vein. No, you look like a junkie. Shut up. Anyways, how are you going to get forward doing any of that? And people are looking at it. And not only that, look what time the season starts. We're starting now. We look at the height of college basketball. College football. NFL's controlling everything. Why don't they just wait a little bit longer? I don't know. But when
they want to get in their 82 games.
Okay, now, here's the big key, the period on the sentence again. The fans know that people are not playing load management. So when you add that to all the things that I said and load management, what are the fans supposed to do? How many times do you want to get a kick in the face? How many times do you want them stepping on their toes? Stop it. Go out there and play the game properly. It's really getting pathetic some games. Like, who did I see the other day? What it was, do you know LaMelo Ball averages, 15 threes a night?
Wow.
Or is it 13? It doesn't
like
matter.
Attempts,
it's attempts, yeah. Attempts. We'll talk about attempts later because you know how much I think of attempts. That's another story. But in any event, you're just firing them up in the shot clock. It makes it ugly. Go work for a point. But I do notice this, okay? If you look at the teams that are at the top of the league right now in the standings in the NBA, and I respect this tremendously, which people are not noticing, who's at the top? Cleveland.
Yeah.
When they have to, they go to the paint. OKC. When they have to, they go into the paint and they rebound. So their percentages aren't as high. Even the Lakers, who are one of the surprise teams in the league. If you look at the top one, let me just get my screen pulled up here for a minute. You start looking around. Those teams shoot less threes than the other ones. Is that why they're got a better record than everybody? I'm not sure just yet. But that tells you that when they're not making their game, they find another way to
what about
score.
Boston?
Anomaly. And same with Golden State. Golden State's still doing it. You know what I mean? Like, how can you say anything? Okay, so you got Cleveland and Boston. You got OKC.
Houston.
Who doesn't shoot as much three. What's his name? Udoka's got them going going into the paint. Houston's a good team, and they're one of my teams I was talking about before the season started.
I know. I picked Udoka to win Coach of the Year.
There you
I'm
go.
surprised you didn't.
What's that?
I'm surprised you didn't.
Who did I pick for Coach of the Year again?
I'll have to look that up.
Okay, we won't worry about it now. But anyways, if you look at those 3 teams, there is two anomalies here. One of them is Golden State.
You had Murray of Orlando, Coach of the Year. Not a bad choice either.
Oh, yeah, there we go. That's another
perfect thing. At home, Orlando.
Not only that, and Panchero, how do you say his name? Panchero hasn't even been playing for him yet, which is another thing plaguing the NBA to start, which we put on the last show, and we want to beat a dead horse. The amount of injuries that are affecting lineups when they got to play. Like the other night, who went out there? When we beat New Orleans, it was basically 2 steps above the G League.
Well, that's sports, though.
Okay, well, what it is. But in the NBA seems to be having a... Look at Paul George.
Because you have a shorter bench. That's the problem, right?
Okay, well, look at a guy like Paul George. He's out again.
Yeah.
Thank God John Morant's back, but somebody else is out of the lineup for another team.
Well, talk about injury problems. Talk about Philly. They've been a disaster this year.
Oh, they're going to be. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they are a disaster. Forget going to be.
The bottom line is they got...
Where are they over on the league? Second last? Yeah.
Yeah, the Raptors got a better record than they do.
Yeah, the only team that's worse is Washington,
and they were supposed to be better this year too. So I don't care what kind of talent you are, Embiid, get out on the floor. And now Paul George is hurt, and
Maxi's been having a little bit of problems too with injuries.
Yeah, but he's been coming back. He looks great.
No, agreed, but I mean, it just adds to the big mess.
Yes, and we're going to get it together. What are you going to get together? What are you now? 3-14. That's a long way back to 500. Just to start that alone.
It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
Thank you very much. But it's only, everything I was going to say, it's only 17 games.
But that's the quarter of the season. What's our line here? If you can't get your way in this early, but you can play your way out this early. You can play,
exactly. That's what's going on.
They've dug themselves into a huge hole. I really don't see them climbing their way out.
It's going to be tough for them to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
They're going to have a run. Now, that's where you just come back to a team like the Raptors. The Raptors can get their whole lineup back in. They can make a shot for the play-in, which would make it interesting for the fans.
They're running out of time, though.
Okay, so no, there's only
they need to run off some games here quick.
Okay, so they get quickly back and Grade and Dick. They play good defense. That's all I know. And their point differential isn't as ugly as you would think. You know what I mean? So I'm going to give them the benefit of a doubt. But the number one thing is to get your whole lineup on there and give them a chance to go there because they play tenacious D. Mm-hmm. You know, R.J. Barrett's looking like a star. And he's looking a star beside Scotty. We know what he's getting. They got Grade and Dick to go quickly. And we don't have, like I said again, we don't have quickly to go in there. Now, when you look around the team, I always say, well, what teams are rising and what's going on there? If we could look quickly.
Milwaukee
has risen.
They're back at 500 after that terrible start. They're still awful on the road, but they're solid as ever at home. And they've knocked off their last 5 in a row.
Oh, yeah, and they're the ones that are flexing their muscles about the, what is it called, the NBA Cup?
Yeah, they're 3-0 in their group with the Raptors. They played Detroit for their final one there to win the group. They probably should take that.
What they should do is they should take some of them floors and not put them on TV anymore because they're so hard on my eyes. That's what they should do. Like, that's pathetic. You see some of these basketball courts?
Yeah.
Some of them are kind of cool.
The Raptors one is nice.
Raptors one's nice. I think it was the Pacers or was it the Nets? One of those two look pretty cool, but some of the other ones, I'm going, who's designing this shit?
I know.
Like a 3-year-old with a crayon? Here you go.
Yeah, it's not exactly the Mecca in Milwaukee.
Oh, you're killing me. But in any event, Milwaukee's rising up. But you look at the team.
Well, you don't like the Mecca floor from back in the day?
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the floor that's on the Milwaukee floor.
No, like the old school one.
Yeah, I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that at all. That was kind of cool, really. But I thought you were talking about the floor that they put out now when they play. It's ugly.
No, it's bad.
Yeah, it's very bad. You know what I mean?
90% of them are bad.
Oh, they're just...
And then they saved the really cool one for the Final Four, I guess.
Yes, because it's Vegas.
Yeah.
It's Vegas.
Well, it's also the big finale, and they're probably telling them, like, hey, don't steal our thunder here.
That's true, too. It'd be get there. Because a lot of the shirts they make for it, too, are kind of the uniforms. The city thing, even though I'm not a big change of uniform fans, that's kind of cool. But if we quickly look around the league, Cleveland's lost a couple, and they got their comeuppance from Boston, and they got beat by Atlanta. I don't know what to think about this Atlanta team because they're 2 games under 500. But if you look and see who they beat, they've beaten all the big teams. I don't get it. And I hate Trae Young.
They're a Jekyll and Hyde team.
Oh, definitely. Like, they lose against the worst teams, and then they go up and they've won. Like, who have they beaten now? They've beaten Boston. They've beaten, I think they beat Golden State.
They beat Cleveland twice in a row.
Thank you very much. That's what I'm saying. Like, where did that come from? I was shocked. I was going to put the host money down in the second game.
They beat the Knicks.
Yeah, and they beat the Knicks. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they're 9-11. I don't think they're really going to go anywhere. I think they're going to be around in the play-in. Like I'm saying, it's nice to see the.
I wouldn't be surprised if they make it to that final 8, but they're probably going to lose in the first round of the playoffs if they make it there.
100%. So I'm going to be comfortable saying like right now, if you got Cleveland, Boston, Orlando,
and Porzingis is back for Boston too. We should mention that.
Oh, which makes that team even crazier because I think that they got a very good chance to repeat.
Come on, they are going to repeat.
Okay. I hate to say
Boston
it.
Golden State rematch.
I'm not. No, Golden State won't get there. They got wore down by another team.
Who do you think's gonna come out of the West then?
I think OKC could do it. It's too bad,
even without Chet.
Well, I'm wondering how else it's going to be. I don't think that Houston's ready for prime time. I think
watch it be Golden State.
If Memphis can get everybody back too, they're another team that's got to get everybody back. And what's going on with Denver? I thought Denver was rising.
I think they're falling off.
They might.
I think their championship window's closed.
Well, let's just look what's going on now. We can't forget about Phoenix, and we can't forget about Dallas because there's too many games left, and they've been hovering, and they've had a couple of injury problems are going to come along. So I think when we get to 20 more games down the road, that's going to tighten up immensely.
Minnesota's falling out of the play-in as well
because they play terrible D. They were supposed to be a good defensive team. I seen them yesterday. And you know what? Their chemistry isn't good with Randall yet. Remember I told you it's a different style.
Well, remember my theory about him.
Too much ISO ball for.
Well, they're going to use him as a trade chip.
Well, then they're not going to make nothing because they're not deep enough. They need Randall. Randall scores some games. He's a good player.
Oh, I know.
He does some things for him, but there just seems to be something discombobulated. Him and Gobert stepping on each other's toes too many times in the paint. Or what they do is they get down in the paint and they fire it out in the perimeter. Or Gobert's in the paint and fires out the perimeter to Randall and he clangs one. You know what I mean? Too many threes, people. 60-some threes a game. You know what I mean?
That's a lot.
Yeah. You know how many games I was on the other night? And I think in 8 games, everybody shot over 53s. Think about that. Except for what teams didn't shoot over 53s? The Lakers, OKC, Cleveland. Who else was it? Memphis. So Memphis shoots a lot too. But a lot of the teams that I think are going to rise up and get down the air know how to score in the paint.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to talk nothing else about the NBA right now because it's too young because everybody's always talking about this. It drives me crazy about.
Well, I want to give Memphis a little bit of credit. They've knocked off their last 5 in a row. They've been looking hot lately, kind of moving up in the conference. Rockets, too, red hot lately. They've won 8 of their last 10, including their last 2 in a row.
Well, I'm not surprised at them either because they got all those young kids like Allen, Jabari Smith. Great leader in Fred VanVleet, but Fred, stay off the refs. It's killing you. That Spongin guy, or whatever his name is, in the middle, and they've got a little bit of depth, and they play defense, and they're not afraid to go in there. The thing I thought about them when they did lose those 2 games, Fred VanVleet still got that habit of coming down. Like, if he thinks he's hot, like he almost blew the game the other night because he took 2 threes in possessions with less than 20, like just 18, 17 seconds left. They were up by 1 or up by 2, and he tried to push it away. You know, the classic Fred VanVleet. Fred, if you can't make that shot, go in there. And he's another one that's starting to drive me crazy about it because I love Fred. Dribble all the way under the basket and fire it all the way back out the perimeter. That makes me crazy. Now, sometimes it's the open guy in the corner. I get it. I see it sometimes, but I say it way too much. Why don't you just try to put the ball up? Because nobody wants to be on the poster. No one wants to be rejected. Nobody there.
Plus, he's like really small too. So
all the guys around the league, which is just saying to that. Every NBA player, they make a play, they make things like that. Everybody in the NBA thinks they're a badass. They're not. They're all good players. Everybody that plays the NBA, you're good. You made the NBA. But all this extra...
You're very good.
Oh, yeah, because small rosters, a lot of people. But the bottom line is that really drives me crazy is the fact that it becomes a little bit, not cartoonish, but you're taking away from the element of the game by adding all this other bullshit that really doesn't matter. Like, you know, like coming around, the guy making a shot, they're all going down the court and they're looking like this at the referees. It drives me absolutely crazy. So, with this all game, and we've talked about it one more time, I think we should champion this theory, and it's pretty simple. NBA, cut the games down. Make this a tournament like you said. The more you think about that, the better. The more I'm thinking this is a good idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, why not? First of all, I hear so many times about how the game is moved, the switching, the stress on the bodies, how hard it is on you, and you talk about load management. Well, if you cut games down, well, we'd not have load management, would we?
Nope.
Okay, so now let's take it, and I'll tell you my pet peeve again is, oh, the athletes of today, so much better condition, so much better. Oh, my protein, working on their bodies. Well, how come the old guys played so many games? What was beer and french fries, wings, had a better formula? I don't know. You know, but I'm saying, like, everyone's like, it's the way it's games played, blah, blah, blah. No. What is happening now is that everybody's a me brand to start with, and you're bringing that on the court. So unless you're going to be a team, you're not going to win. You know what I mean? That's why I like the Memphises, the OKCs. Those are Raptors. Very, very tight teams.
Golden State.
What's that?
Golden State.
Oh, that's because Curry got there. And you know what?
Exactly.
He's circled the wagons there. And you know what about this year? Even though he should have been Seward again. Do you see Draymond Green when he pulled down Eby in the game?
No, I missed that.
Why didn't they give that guy another throw the book at him?
I don't get it.
He's been very quiet this year, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And he's been playing his game very well under the board, the classic Draymond Green, and moves the ball out. What they're very happy is Kuminga's risen up. Wiggins is having the best year of his season.
Yep.
And those two guys that they drafted, they're coming off the bench, are playing great. Like, I'm very surprised. Look at Golden State. What are they?
I mean, they've lost their last 3 in a row, but they're still 12-6.
Exactly. In all 3 games, who'd they lose to? OKC?
San Antonio.
Oh, yeah, that was a bad loss.
Well, San Antonio's creeping their way up. They're number 10 right now in the West.
Yeah, and Wemby,
with a record above 500.
And Wemby has missed the last couple of games. Them and the Brooklyn Nets are the weirdest teams in the NBA because on any given night, Brooklyn can win, and I don't even know half the guys on the team.
Yeah, Brooklyn's looking like a major spoiler.
Oh, they are. And look who's on the team. It's a bunch of malcontents, but not malcontents, but guys that are always a castaway. Schroeder's on the team.
Yep.
Cam Johnson ended up over there, even though he just got hurt. Our buddy, Mr. Simmons, is on that team.
Yep.
And he's not playing bad basketball, and a couple of their young draft choices are putting out. Like every game I see Brooklyn won yesterday, didn't they? Oh, no, they got
lost.
thumped. That was the first one they got thumped, and that was the first time I seen them get thumped. Very, very scrappy team. But we're going to need 20 more games to separate the pack to see where we're going. But I've seen now, as much as I just bitched about how bad it was and stuff like that, I have seen some good games.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like last night, the Laker-OKC game was a good basketball game. When I seen the San Antonio Golden State game was actually a good game. One of the teams I think that's going to race there because they're getting their chemistry faster than anybody is the New York Knicks. They're the closest you see to old school basketball. Even though, like everybody else on 3, they all shoot threes, but they can bang. I felt bad.
And they're starting to find their form.
Exactly. Anobi scored 40 this week, eh?
Wow.
And the next game scored 8. Killed me on fantasy. But I balance this for the 2 games, right? Sure. When you think about it in the long run,
average of 24.
I can't be bitching about that, but he went from 40 to 8. And you know what? Anobi should be in line for still one of the best defensive players if he plays enough games.
I agree.
Like he's just
defensive player of the year, yeah.
Defensive player of the year. There's a few candidates I'll find around the league. We'll talk about it later because eventually we're going to talk about candidates for these things along the way. But we'll get to it. Anything else you want to talk about basketball?
No, I just wanted to bring up that this is the time when the haves and the have-nots are being sorted out, and I just hope the Raptors are on the right side of that debate.
You know what? If they compete as hard as they've been competing, I'll watch every game. But what I'm saying is if they're going to go for a play-in, which they could, that'll keep us excited at the end of the year. It won't be the Blue Jays in August. We're going, oh, well, here we are.
Yeah, there we go.
You know what I mean? Which is kind of the reason the NBA is doing that anyway, expanded, to keep us guys thinking they got a chance to get in there. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's kind of like some of the things they do in soccer over there, how they keep players in, teams in, but that's another story. I'm just saying.
What are you talking about?
Like sometimes in the, like how you go, then you have the play-in. We're going to have the players, then we're going to have the play-ins, and then we're going to see who's going to get in.
Oh, well, yeah, well, that's a little bit different. But
that's tradition, how you do it. But it seeps over here. Some parts of the world seep over there. Some parts of over here. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is.
Yeah, either way, ready to move this along?
Yes.
We will move this along to the house favorite here at the House That Happens, the NHL, where we have our first edition of our power rankings since we are at American Thanksgiving, the dreaded American Thanksgiving, where the haves and the have-nots really start to be sorted out.
Okay, before we go anywhere, I'm going to start this off. We'll get to our power rankings in a minute. There's something going on in this city that me and Mr. Milani talked about, and I'm going to bring it right to the House That Happens because I think it's great. Now, we're not the biggest fans of everybody on the show, but sometimes there's a talking head in the business that might bring
you want to lead off the segment with this? Get out of here.
We're going to jump on to bring the Sidney Crosby to Toronto bandwagon. I'm not even a Leaf guy. Come on, be happy about it. Be a Christmas present. Your mom would be happy.
Be happy about what?
That you got Sidney Crosby.
That's not happening.
Why can't Toronto just get to the warm idea? Go give Sid a hug. Tell him he can't play at Pittsburgh. They suck.
This is the leprechaun riding a unicorn at my front door. That's what this sounds like.
Here, okay, so we got a little bit of division at the House That Happens. Mr. Brian Hayes, have you heard from me, Cruz, at the House That Happens? I'm trying to promote your idea that it would be good for the people of Toronto to give them some hope, because all I ever hear is, it's the same team, man. We're going to go in the playoffs. We're the same teams. They look good in regular season. We're going to get in the playoffs. We're going to lose again. You haven't done nothing for us. But if you got Sid, it was 3-time Stanley Cup champion.
Okay, no one's saying that. Hold on. No one's saying that Sid's a bad player, but he's staying in Pittsburgh. We all know that. And you think Kyle Dubas is going to trade him to Toronto?
He'll have no say. We had about this.
No, what do you mean he's got no say? He's president and GM.
Let's tell the truth here. This is like a fairy tale. I'm glad you brought up the leprechaun and the unicorn situation here.
No, hold on. Why would he have no say?
Because it's Sid's call. And the owners.
He's going to want to say, I'm going to Toronto.
If Sid got up and said, it's all Sid. It's all
Why would he
Sid.
say Toronto over any other team, though?
Okay, he might say Colorado. We know that, too. Okay, but I'm just saying.
Dallas.
Toronto? Okay, but he doesn't have to worry about the money. I'm just saying.
Well, the money's the money. Like, he's got the money. He's on contract.
So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so there's nothing to worry about that. I'm just saying that it would give a warm, fuzzy, different take in this overblown, overburdened city that's called Toronto and Leaf Nation. That's what I'm saying. Give you guys something to think about. It would just make the city go crazy. I would love it. Now, personally, I'd like him to go to Montreal because that's his favorite team, but that's just not happening.
Montreal, what's the phrase? The results suck?
Something like that. We'll discuss that in a little bit. But I think it's a fascinating observation because then you get to talk. It becomes content because the main thing is not going to happen. Dubas would have nothing to do with it. Dubas would be on the thing to make the trade. Like he'd be in on which players that we should get. And the first thing they would start with the number one draft choice. And what if they want a goalie? Fuck
Pittsburgh?
that. Yeah. Well, yeah. No, you can't have a goalie. So what if they ask for Minton? What if they have Minton and a frontline player? Do you want to give up that? What if they ask for Nyes?
Nah, you're going to have to give up too much to get Crosby, too.
It would probably 2 or 3 players in the first rounder
plus,
for sure.
Plus.
No, that'd be enough.
Maybe a lower draft choice, too. I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, get seconds and thirds. Oh, yeah, I'm not saying that. But the bottom line is, it's the comfort about it is you got 2 years with Sid. So if you got him now, you got this year and 2 more seasons. You got 3 kicks at the can. Second line center after Austin Matthews. 1967, people.
Nah.
1967. 1967. Okay, so I'm just saying how nice. I'm in the heart of Leaf Nation. I'm in North Etobicoke.
And you're throwing 67 in my face. Get out of here.
What's my address number?
I know, 67.
Okay, I'm just saying. I'm in the heart of Etobicoke, and all addresses minus 67 in the heart of Leaf Nation makes me giggle every time I walk into my house. You know what I'm saying? I think it would be interesting. And you know what? When I talk about it now, when I'm walking through the streets, all the Etobicokeans, some of them growl at me and go, "That's interesting." Shut up, Cruz. That never happened, man. It's like a dream. It's like whatever. But anyways, we'll continue on there.
It's not happening.
I am on
This is the last time we're going to talk about this on the show. This is the last time. Because this is such a stupid, ridiculous thing that's been thrown in the air.
Okay, I won't say too
Leprechauns
much
riding on unicorns,
That's
people.
one of my favorite things to see happening. I haven't seen it yet, but...
Well, there you go.
Okay.
I'll get to start with their power rankings.
Okay, here we go.
Number 5, a team that... had a little bit of a hot start, fell a little bit after, but is picking up a little bit now. The New Jersey Devils.
Wow. I didn't see that coming, bro.
Number 4 are buddies to, I guess they're technically north of us, even though they're in the States, the Minnesota Wild.
You're killing me. You're still my team. I'll let you
Number
finish.
3, your buddies, the Carolina Hurricanes.
Wow, okay.
Number 2, my buddies, the Toronto Maple Leafs. And number 1, a team that you've been stomping on, shitting on, you name it all year, the Washington Capitals.
What? That's your power rankings?
That's my power rankings.
Okay, can you say that one more time? Because I'm going to pinch myself because you didn't get any of these bottles around here that you see around. You didn't get any of these bottles, did you? Let me give that. Give me from 5 to 1 again. I want to hear. Minnesota
Jersey.
Wild, I'm very, very happy.
New Jersey, Minnesota, Carolina, Toronto, Washington.
That list is horrid. Absolutely horrid. Mrs. Milani.
Winnipeg's my honorable mention.
Oh, you know what? I think he just did this just to say, I wonder if Cruz is going to pull his hair out when he hears this list. Okay, I'll give you this. Minnesota, you know that. I'm loving them. I'm loving them more than I'm seeing them. They're on a streak again. They beat some big teams this week. What's his name? Kirill
Kaprizov?
Right now, are we going to start saying we're going to start talking about MVPs? He's already in the conversation. Yep. He's a great player, so give Minnesota there. So, Washington's your number one.
Yes, they are.
Okay, come on. They just lost Ovechkin.
Doesn't matter. They won their last
Do you think
3 in a
they're
row.
goaltended? Okay, yes, it was
7-3 in their last 10.
I'm giving them benefit of the doubt. I think that their back end of their defense, by the time you get deeper into the thing, they might have a little bit of trouble. And you think their goaltending is going to hold them up?
That's not what it's about. Power rankings is based on your recent performance. Is it not?
Okay, then I'll give you the benefit of the doubt on the Washington thing. I think that's horrid. So let me give you mine, because you're going to start going, what? Okay, give me yours one more time. You said
New Jersey, Minnesota, Carolina, Toronto, Washington.
Oh my God. You just, because it's recency bias. Come on.
That's what power rankings are all about.
Okay, so I'm looking at it. If you win a couple games, okay, I'm getting excited.
Oh my God. I looked at their last 10 and like what streaks they're on.
Buddy, okay. Okay, what is this? November? Last day of November. It's the last time you're going to be bringing up Washington for a while, I'll bet.
I doubt it.
Okay, anyways.
Dylan Strome, top 5 in league scoring.
Okay, first of all, honorable mention is Minnesota for me. Honorable mention. They would have been honorable mention because I thought I'm going there. My number 5 team, Carolina.
Okay.
Number 5. I'm worried about their goaltending now, or they would have been hired. They lost a couple games. Florida pushed them around. Number 4, the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Okay.
Number 1 in the thing. This team, I can't believe you left off your list. Number 3, the Florida Panthers. How did you leave Florida off your list?
4 and 6 in their last 10.
I don't give a shit. They were partying a bit. They're partying a bit.
Then what's the point of power rankings?
Well, then you got to put what their standings are too. You got to combine with their standings and how they're doing of late. Last time I checked, look at that.
The NHL, it's a tough league.
You're damn right. So, and they're the toughest team in the league. Thank you very much.
You're still under 500 in your last 10. I can't put you top 5.
I look at they're still number 1 in their division.
Barely.
Well, what's that? Because they're right by the Leafs. Doesn't it matter? They're number 1 team in the Atlantic, which is going to have no wild card teams in the playoffs, by the way, in my opinion.
Buffalo.
After yesterday, they're losing again late. They can't finish. Buffalo can't finish.
Well, the rest of the East sucks too, but.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. So my number 3 is Florida.
Okay.
Number 2, how can you disrespect Winnipeg because they just lost a couple games? And who'd they lose against? They lost to Vegas in Vegas. They lost to Minnesota in Minnesota. And you're bitch slapping after a 13-0 start. Oh, Mr. Milani, you know what? That little can I gave you, next time I'm going to think about it before I do that. Okay, because, come on. Buddy, how did you leave Florida? Okay, so Winnipeg's my number 2.
Winnipeg was my number 6. They were barely off the list.
My number 1 team. And I'm riding these guys for the rest of the year. They're up and down, and where they are in the standings, where they at. The Vegas Golden Knights, my number 1 power ranking. You didn't even have them on your list.
They've been a weird one this season. They haven't been super convincing.
Well, everyone said they got a couple injuries and weren't going to let it go, but they're solid.
I'm worried about their depth as well.
Not on the D. I think their D is going to hold up. I know what you're saying, like 3rd and 4th line scoring, but they got enough, and they're big guys playing it too. I don't mind Vegas' defense and their goaltending solid. And look at their record. And they're playing in a tougher division.
They're solid.
So I like Vegas at the top. I think Vegas is going to be there. Like Vegas, to me, I'm already going to say, I'm looking at them to be a Final Four team. Already. I'm already a quarter of the season.
I won't argue that.
They're looking like a Final Four team. You know what? They're looking like Florida West. And I watch a lot of hockey and the style that they play. It's the forecheck that these guys have. The relentless forecheck. You know what I mean? You know what won the game against Carolina yesterday? It was really competitive. 2 big forechecks in there, one by Sam Bennett. Mm-hmm. You know, just come in there going, they don't let the forecheck. And you know what it does that's why Toronto's playing a bit the way too. The center of ice area gets a little cloggy at time, but the intensity doesn't. So that doesn't bother me. You know what I mean? Because you're fighting for that center ice. Because you're not seeing like a lot of those. You know how everyone tried to circle and come up the middle in that? The game's moved a little bit away more to the boards because, first of all, the hits that are going on in the middle now, you're going to fly through there, and everybody's blocking you off at the blue line, so it's harder to get through. Even though that goal this week, Tavares to Marner pass, one of the best, was that the best pass of the week you've seen? Because
the breakaway one?
The breakaway one.
Yeah, that was the best pass.
I've seen
amazing.
All time. Yeah, but I mean, you're not seeing enough of that. Why? Because it's so hard to get that real estate.
Yeah, you don't have the time and space.
Yeah, they're getting that. That's really tough. And the teams at the top that block that up the most are who? Vegas, Toronto, Florida. Your boys, Washington, do that pretty good. I'll give them credit.
John Carlson's having a nice bounce back year there, too.
Certainly has. And Tom Wilson's a leader in the clubhouse. Mm-hmm. You know, like, I mean, he's a weird Sam Bennett kind of guy. Where, like, he'll fight, he'll score, he'll kill a penalty, he'll do anything to win. Like, he's not an analytics.
Could make Team Canada.
What's that?
Could make Team Canada.
Sam Bennett?
Yeah, it's Bennett and Tom Wilson, I think.
I wouldn't. Either one of those guys are on my 4th line for Team Canada. I am not bitching. That's because you got to have a little bit of that on your team. You know what I mean?
That's a little bit of a tease for later. We will talk Four Nations at the end of the segment. But I guess we can jump right into our Toronto Maple Leafs report.
Well, no.
Okay.
I'm just looking at my list and your list, and I'm going to compare them for a while because you shocked the shit out of me. Washington, because what? They had a hard-on for 15 minutes. They lost Ovechkin. I'm blown away.
They're top 5 in the league, and they've won 7 of their last 10 games. Without Ovechkin, too.
Okay.
Logan Thompson's been great in net. Their defense looks
solid.
solid.
We're going to get to him. Okay, but my bottom line is I don't want to be dissing Washington. Okay, and they're the surprise of the league. They are one of the biggest surprises in the NHL, so to speak. But wait a second, bro. Winnipeg went on that run in the last couple of games. Where have they lost? They've lost on the road. You just seen it here. They lost to Vegas in Vegas.
A loss is a loss.
Okay, and they're not like getting blown out. Minnesota took them out in the third period.
Sure.
And so did Vegas. You just seen the end of the game there. That was a great hockey game. Washington, some of their wins have been against who? Check their schedule.
Doesn't matter. Win's a win.
A win is a win, so that's what I'm saying. And you stack points now. Like we've talked about this many a time, so I give them credit. Will they be a top 5 team? We'll see by January 1st.
I think they're a slam dunk for top 3 in that division.
Okay, let's just take a look at one more time here, okay?
I think even second place.
I think the Rangers are in big trouble. That's a team they are in big trouble. And now that
there's talk of Trouba and Kreider on the trade block now.
That's insane. Why would you trade Kreider?
I don't know. I think that might just be to light a fire under their asses. I don't know if that's true or not.
That's the wrong way to do it. So when then they're talking in the dressing room.
They also have a crazy owner. Let's not forget.
Okay,
Dolan.
I agree with that, but the general manager's been shooting his mouth off. That's what
sure.
makes. That's what makes.
Drury.
Yeah, so he's been shooting his mouth off about these players. So what is that doing in the dressing room? Oh, we're sending him a message. Well, why don't you go down in the dressing room and close the door and say something? You're putting it out there public. Everyone's going, what? And ever since he opened his mouth, has the Rangers won? Where are the Rangers now?
They've lost like 3 in a row now, haven't they?
5 in a row.
Oh, there we go.
5 in a row. And they're not tough. When I tell about the Rangers that I always said.
They're soft.
They're soft. They look good skating around. Pretty good. But no. And I think the Rangers are going to be in big trouble if they don't improve. Goaltending, they never have to worry about.
No, that's the only thing they don't have to worry about.
Because that guy's he's always in the game. So when you talk about the top 3 in that division, you're going to say I'll say Jersey and Carolina will be there. You do have a point, but there's one team that I think that they can tighten up the screw somehow, some way. I think the Islanders are going to crawl their way in it. They lose tough games. They'll learn to win.
Nah, I don't see it.
Okay, I'll tell you.
I don't see it.
Well, let's just look at one of their stats.
They have too much trouble scoring.
Overtime losses, 6. So they're in every game. They got to tighten that up. That's an interesting stat. Overtime losses, 6 times they've lost in overtime.
Yeah, but at a certain point, though, that kind of becomes your identity. And who are they?
They need a score. They lost Brazil.
No, that's definitely a big one too. But I'm just saying, like, especially if you're giving those points to teams in your division, in your conference,
like to Washington.
Yeah, that's you're putting yourself behind the 8 ball there.
Agree, but I think they got a solid, good young. I like the way they play. They play bang. They play bang, but they don't like you don't. Who's their big scorer? Brazil.
And he's out.
And he's out. Yeah,
Anders Lee seems to be slowing down. I like Brock Nelson a lot.
Oh, I like Brock Nelson a whole bunch. But I'm saying but by the time they get to their 3rd and 4th line,
starts to fall off a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
Noah Dobson's having a rough year on defense too.
No, he's solid, but he's out in the ice so much.
That's an issue though if he's got to be out there so much though, because you need other guys you can lean on.
And I think that they put Varlamov in net too many times.
Yeah, they definitely have a goaltending issue.
Well, then they got 2 good ones. Just decide. Don't make that's going to screw up guys in there. Do it like Toronto, but we'll get to them in a moment. So in any event, you heard our first power rankings of the year, and neither one of us are backing down from the greatness that we both believe that we're applying to this place called planet Earth. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
So let's get to the Toronto Maple Leaf report. We'll get over that leprechaun unicorn riding scenario that I brought up, and let's talk about the real thing about the Toronto Maple Leaf report. Number 1 is this. I'm stunned at the depth of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Their depth is incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. Look where they are in the standings. Look at how they're playing. What was it the other night? 5 guys that were in the lineup opening night were not playing. You know what I'm saying?
Are the Leafs a Lego team now officially?
That's not a bad thing.
It's not.
It's not a bad thing especially if you get down at the end, because what it does, it keeps the guys in the press box hungry too.
Yeah, and we got some guys coming back tonight, which is good. Nyes and Matthews both coming back.
Yeah, I wonder why Nyes was out so long.
Well, it was that hit that he against Vegas, right?
Yeah.
Well, he only missed 2 games, but
well, I think then that was a good idea. So they're going to come back out, and I think that Matthews and Nyes are going to play together right away. So that means that Nylander, no, because they're both left wingers. Right? Nylander and Nyes are both left wingers.
Nylander plays right, doesn't he?
Right. Okay, right. So that's the line they should have.
Not Marner?
No. Marner.
Okay.
Keep them there together with, what's his name on the side? Is it Camp or McMahon? But he got hurt.
McMahon's out. Yeah.
McMahon's out. So who are they going to put on the wing with him?
Man.
That's a good question. Anyway, because Domi is going to be back.
Oh, okay. So apparently they got Pontus Holmberg on the left wing with them.
That's not bad. I think
Ruby
he's a little
likes him a
overrated.
lot.
I know, because his toughness. But I don't think he's got much hands.
Well, you don't need him to with Marner and Tavares playing with him. You just need him to do the dirty work for them, right?
Well, if he gets that extra shot on there, put him on the net. I don't know why they don't give a chance for my boy, Mr. Robertson, to play.
Yeah, he's playing third line tonight with Minton and Lorenz, it looks like.
And you know what? That's a solid line. Do you see them out there? They're out there. And what happened? Everyone's talking about Robertson. They go, I don't know. What does he hit? He had 2 posts the other night. Guy snake bitten like nobody I know. Do you see him play? And that's going to be scary, because when the numbers come, if you don't produce, guess where you go?
Well, you know my theory about him. He's getting traded.
I smell that.
Yeah.
I smell that coming too. It's too bad, because I like the guy. But that third line with those 3 guys out there,
solid.
They're buzzing around. They're making chances. Minton's looking good the more I see him.
Yeah.
And he's a big boy. You know what I mean?
Captain of Team Canada at the juniors last year. Good player.
There you go. He's going to be solid. So let's just be marveling at the Leafs' depth. Number 2 is, who cares who the number 1 goalie is on the Toronto Maple Leaf right now?
Well, it's Stolarz, but...
Okay, but Wall's got the contract.
So does Stolarz. He signed for a couple years, isn't he?
I forget. At much lower money, though. Doesn't matter. The bottom line...
Still, you got to go with the hot hand.
I agree. So the question is right now, and we're so far away from that, it's going to be interesting to say if they continue to play this way, it'll be one of the best goalie tandems in the NHL.
For sure.
There's not even a doubt about that.
Find me a Leaf fan that's upset about these goalies.
First time in years that you guys, nobody's been sweating about it. You know what I mean?
I know.
You're not even sweating about it.
But there was like a hot second Anderson's first year when McElhinney was the backup, but that was it.
Oh, yeah. And since then, no. This is a great
They fucked up putting McElhinney on waivers, but we won't go there.
Oh, shit happens. Bottom line
Stupidity happens.
When they have, that's your buddy Dubas, wasn't it?
Yep.
Bottom line is, that's a great goaltending duo. Either guy had put in, like they had to put in Stolarz against Florida. That was perfectly understandable. Wall will probably play tonight. It was like last week.
I think Stolarz probably gets the start tonight.
Really?
I think so.
I think they should start flip-flopping him now. They had to play the game because he was supposed to play
that
the other night.
flip-flopping never really works, though.
So you go with one guy for how many starts? Just keep
at least a couple.
Well, that's what.
Oh no, it is Wall getting the start tonight. Look at that.
I was pretty sure he should get the start because he had the shutout and then he played the next game. You can't take the guy out; he's got a shutout. He gets plays in that game. But there's no reason for Stolarz to be sitting on the bench for too long.
No,
they had
can't.
to play him the other night because they've only played 2 games in 13 days or 3 games in 13 days. So you want him to play anyway. So I was 100% sure. And you know what? They didn't look bad against Florida. Florida got the right place at the right time.
They didn't look great.
Looked a little flat. Got the
they
Florida
looked very
party
flat.
night. Well, let's go see tonight. They've had 2 days of sitting around in Florida, sunshine, golf, beers. Saturday night in Tampa.
Yep.
It's going to be quite interesting. But hey, your Toronto Maple Leafs are right up there, and I'm not backing down. I picked them to win the division.
Maybe the best regular season they've been having under the Marner Matthews era.
Because they're not losing the stupid games.
No, they're not.
And that's what's huge.
Well, because you have a coach that's going to kick your ass.
That's a lot to do.
Not
with
Sheldon Keefe, who's like, I mean, he was a yeller, but like, is anyone really intimidated by Sheldon Keefe?
Probably not, but
definitely not.
And
like, not to mention, too, the Leafs are doing this with the 4th toughest schedule in the league this season. They have the most back-to-backs. And they have the 4th most games against rested teams while they're tired.
There you go. But one of the narratives around Toronto, and I can't wait till this plays out for the rest of the season, but I've said it before, and I'm going to keep riding this bandwagon all season long. Willie, too bad your brother looks a little pedestrian out there.
Wow, he's
a player to need right now on the 4th line.
Yeah.
He checks his man. I watch him.
He does his job.
He's not going to do much more than that. However, we've heard a little bit of talk about the Berube, Nylander relationship, I'm going to say one more time. If I'm the coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs, I'm going to let Willie Nylander do whatever
he's going to play.
But, I mean, his style of play, that's got to rub Berube a little bit hard. Because every once in a while, Nylander lets that blow by. So what? It happens, okay, but then when it happens, it's always seems to have a spot where it sticks out a bit.
Sure.
Or like the other night when he got the double minor. Really wasn't his fault. Bad time to get a bug. It took the momentum away from the game. But, I mean, okay, when does Willie get penalties to start with?
Yeah.
Then he gets a double minor. Then when you see the replay, it was just as much the other guy's fault as his that he got the stick in the head. But you got to call
Exactly.
And then Berube's looking over, giving him one of those looks because it took a little, the game was closer then. You know what I mean? So it took a little air out of their balloon, and they scored a power play goal.
Yeah. But, I mean, Toronto's other star right winger, Mitch Marner, I will say he's playing his best hockey in a Toronto uniform right now, ever since Matthews has been injured.
Can I speak?
Go ahead.
Okay, listen, Leaf Nation. This is why you guys are all a bunch of fucking schmucks.
Whoa!
Here's what I'm going to tell you right now.
Say that.
I'm saying this right now. I'm going to get over this because you remember.
I'm not taking it. If you think I'm going to take this from a Habs fan, you're nuts.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to go back to where he was. If you guys remember correctly, let's get back to where we were. If you're listening to the show on a regular basis, what was I doing? I was walking Mitch Marner's dog. I was waiting out in front of his house to take him to the airport. I was making him feel comfort. I was making sure no one was stealing his car. And you guys were running him out of the city. What are you saying now, Leaf fans? What are you saying now? You guys were running the guy out of town. And I'm looking at you going, I'll take him to the airport. I'll walk his dog. I like Mitch Marner. He's a nice guy. What are you saying now? How come I don't hear that scuttlebutt now? You're schmucks. That's why I'm calling you schmucks. You guys are schmucks. You have one of the best guys in the league, two-way players in the league, playing his best hockey, raising his game up.
Well, now he's playing his best hockey.
Because he rose up.
Now, the big question is, can he keep it up for the playoffs?
Wah, 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 wah. Sidney Crosby. Anyways, just saying.
Marner for Crosby. Wow.
No, I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying you would change the narrative of your playoff team if you did something that dramatic. So I'm not allowed to say that. I've now been banned. One of those words like on, what was it, around the horn, that's now a banned word when they used to do that.
Oh, yeah.
It's a banned word now. It's going to be Cruz. It's going to be Sidney Crosby. It's going to be a banned word on the show.
Well, Crosby to Toronto. But there's another thing about Crosby that I want to bring up. So he's definitely not banned or will ever be banned from that. Sid, come on the show.
But wait a second now. You can't run away from this point. You talk to Leaf Nation. What about the Mariner? Like, now everybody's not saying anything. Just think about before. That guy's dick got dragged through the dirt harder than anybody I've seen in years in Toronto.
But the problem is he's doing this without Matthews. How's it going to be when Matthews comes back? Because it seems like something something seems to change a little bit when he plays with Matthews, where it's like he's trying to force it to him. I think we're going to see a little bit of that happen again because it looks like they're going 5 men. They're not going to split up the power play unit.
Oh, no.
Well, they're going 5 forwards on the top power play unit, it looks like.
Okay, but I understand what you're saying that because when you play with someone long enough, you start looking for them. You start doing shit. You know what I mean? So I get that.
Yeah, but Marner, he seems to be more aggressive. He's just making.
He's shooting the puck more.
Stop biting, buddy.
Okay, get there. Stay, Stanley. Come here. I told you we would have an interference too. Just completely ignore him. But pretend he's not even there.
But okay, it's hard for me to go. He's just right in my face.
I got him.
So, but just I don't know. He looks. I don't want to say pedestrian. But just less aggressive. He is less of that eye of the tiger kind of thing when he's playing with Matthews.
No, I think I wouldn't say that. I would say this. He deferred his shot more.
Way more.
Okay, so now that he's in a position where he had to shoot more, he's done it. So hence the reason I'm saying tonight when they come out there, they shouldn't. That's what's keeping them hot.
But they played together on the power play though, which has been a disaster with Matthews in the lineup. We know that.
Okay, so maybe put them on.
And I'm not blaming that on Matthews either. I think it's a whole team problem.
Okay, and they will figure that out. Come on.
You think?
They had that great winning streak that was away when everyone's saying, oh, the team looks better than Matthews. Shut up, Toronto schmucks. You can't say that either. It's just you had a nice run. The team's playing great. You identified your depth. Your goaltending's been solid. Be happy for all that. But to say your team's better without Matthews, you're having a better run, that's just absolutely asinine because when the big games come, you're going to need them.
Well, I didn't say that.
Okay, I know you didn't say it, but you hear shit around. Anyways, my take on it, as I like what you're saying, is I found that it's true, and everyone's noticing Marner's just shooting the puck more because he's not passing it to Matthews. No. So let's leave him with Tavares for now and see how it goes.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? And they can come out tonight, and it'll be did you say Holmgren's going to be playing with them?
Yeah, with Tavares and Marner.
Okay, so and then it's going to be
Nyes Matthews Nylander.
oh, that's they're going to score goals instantly. Nylander's going to be going welcome back. Oh, our guest
What are you doing,
is
you
around
little
the
bear?
table. Look at he's back at the table saying hello. We have Stanley hasn't said much. We know he's got a Hab fan. Did you notice his collar?
I've noticed it before.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. It's properly. You know what they say in Etobicoke? And that's really starting to bother me. They go, that's a really nice dog. What's up with the collar? What's up with the collar? Yeah, even Gail had it one day. One guy was looking, he goes, your dog looks amazing. What's up with his collar? No, we're not going to say his collar.
It's the Heart of Leaf Nation. What do you want?
Ah, yeah, get it all the time. But in any event, should be a good game tonight because your team, Tampa Bay, your buddies, Tampa Bay, they're not going away.
No, they're not.
They're not going
Anthony
away.
Cirelli's actually having an unreal season. Gotta give him a shout out.
We will get to his name. Keep his name permanent right now. Okay, what do you
Now
want?
I got to ask you about your Montreal Canadiens.
What do you want to know?
What's your impression of them? Fake 500 in their last 10 games, and by that I mean 4-4-2 with the overtime losses puts you at fake 500. Last in the East, third last overall. What's your impression?
My impression is this, okay? We had some injury problems first to start. Now we're getting everybody back. They're going to be a little bit healthy. Slavaski's still going to score 20 goals this year. You heard it here first. He's still going to score his 20. It took us a long time to figure out who is playing who with defense. And our defense was not great to start with. And when your veteran guy is Matheson and he's making some of the biggest mistakes out there, you got to go, what are you teaching the kids? However, he goes out on the power play and he gets his 2 points and everyone goes, see, he's contributing to the team. No, trade the guy at the deadline as quickly as you can.
Oh my God, Stanley.
Okay. Yeah.
One of your lighters fell on the floor there.
I'll put my foot over it. In any event, I like the development. They've been playing better. They're playing in their own end. They're not getting blown out too much. I really believe this. We do not have a number one line. We do not have a number one center. Now, Laline coming back would be
Line
coming back will be interesting. And the kid playing over, a couple kids that we have over in Europe are looking really good. You know what I mean?
But they're still at least a year away.
Okay, but one of them could make the team next year.
Reinbacher?
Yeah, one of them could make the team next year. So the great thing about it is, when you think about it, is the fact that our development seems to be working. It's just gone slower than we expected. I think that every time I see Primo in the net, I start believing in God because I drop to my knees really quickly. God, help this guy make a save. Montembeault is just getting the shit kicked out of him. Plays really great. Then he has a so-so game, and everyone says, "Oh, look at him now."
Well, he's the much better of the two.
Oh, he's infinitely. They play him a lot more. Like they like, Primo gets the odd start when we have too many in a row, stuff like that. But the bottom line is, we got a long way to go. I'm impressed with Caulfield. Okay, that he's got some scores, but it gets back to one guy I want to talk about when we talk about Team Canada. I'll get in a minute. One thing about this league is you can be dipsy doodle and you can be skating and you can shoot and stuff, but you got to be strong enough so that you don't get pushed off the puck all the time. And that's the problem with Montreal.
Yeah, Suzuki and Caulfield.
Yeah, sometimes they get pushed off the line, and who do you put with them? Kirby Dach has not worked out as well as I thought.
He was my next question. Only 1 goal and 8 points in 22 games. What's wrong with him?
I don't know. You know what? He seems to have. He's cautious. Is that the word? He's playing cautiously, okay? And that kind of kills us. Now, I've said this about the Habs for a long time. I'm going to continue to say this. We got their contracts. We got to live with them. Okay,
Gallagher and Anderson.
One of our best lines on any given night. You want to talk about the most snake-bitten guy in the league? That's Anderson. Guy's one of the best guys on the forecheck. Gally's looking like he's on a 25-goal pace.
Yep.
You know what
credit
I mean?
to him.
You know what I mean? That line is our best line. They go out there number 1. Now, that's my problem with Montreal. Like I say, is that a first line? I don't think so. And what's our first line? We don't have one. So until we have a presence of scoring and enough guys that are big enough to forecheck that can score, we're still a year away.
Yeah.
A year away, 18 months away. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to be a diehard forever.
No, of course not.
Okay, Stanley, you got a problem. Sit.
We'll also give a big shout out to Sidney Crosby for reaching 600
Yes,
goals. The 21st player to do so.
You know what? I think that last week. He's the quietest guy I've ever heard get to 600.
Which is shocking.
Isn't it? You know what I mean? Like, everybody, it's a fanfare for this kind of stuff. Oh, Sidney got a 600. He got his 600, people. That's only 21 guys.
700 isn't out of the question either.
No, it's not when you come to think about it, the way that he's been playing. Hence the reason why you want to get him here for a couple of years. But that's another story. Okay? But I thought it was the quietest celebration that I've heard in like maybe in my lifetime, a player of his stature, even when Gretzky got to 500. Yeah, Gretzky got to 600. But Sidney, it just seems to be like, well, you know.
Well, I think also it's because the Penguins suck.
That has to do with it too. But the bottom line is, let's cut to the chase here. Sid's top 10 all time.
Easy.
Questionably top 5.
I'd put him top 5.
You would?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're younger era, so that's the only reason you would do that. But I'm saying he's top 10 for sure. Arguably top 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he's won 3 Stanley Cups, and he's won in the salary cap era.
Back-to-back in the salary cap era.
And all that kind of shit, too. It's crazy. Oh. Our guest here is really starting to cause us a problem, which we knew we would do. Stanley, get off the table.
He's been relatively good, though.
Yeah, but now I knew he'd get to the point where he's just going to get rowdy. Here, okay,
so we'll keep this moving then. So some of the biggest news of the week was, so obviously Jim Montgomery got fired by Boston. I believe we talked about that last week.
And hired by St. Louis.
Yes,
10 minutes
the Blues
later.
fired Bannister and they hired Montgomery right away.
Oh, wow. That's the NHL coaching circle at its finest, right?
Yeah.
But you know what I heard?
And they've won 2 in a row with him.
There you go. But I heard what's even crazier when you think about this, right? The guy in St. Louis was an interim guy, and they expanded his job anyway, right?
Yeah.
So if you want the guy, go get him now. Why wait till the offseason? Maybe some other people are going to jump on him.
Exactly. Yeah, from what I heard, they wanted Montgomery in the offseason. They were waiting to see if Boston was going to let him go.
Because his contract was up anyway.
Yeah.
So that's when you look at it like that. But I hate Boston. We all know that. Screw those guys. You know what? I like Montgomery better now because he's not behind their bench. But that's what I tell you about Boston. Is that a little bit maybe they were in the panic mode? I like that.
Maybe because they haven't gotten any better ever since they got their
and they're
new
not
coach.
going to get any better because they don't score and their defense is too stiff and their goaltending is not what it used to be.
Like right now, Philadelphia's sitting in that final playoff spot.
I don't think they can be there. They're not. I don't know.
So who's going to be there then? You think the Islanders still?
I still say the Islanders. I'm going to give it a shot.
They're 8, 10, and 6.
They're all
16 losses, bro. 8 wins. Islanders. 16 losses, 8 wins.
They 8 and 16.
8, 10, and 6, including overtime.
8, 10, and 6. Okay, so they're flirting with 500, and the rest of the other side is weak. Like my prediction is
they're flirting with fake 500. You know what I think about that?
Okay, but I'm still going to say when you get down to it, I'm still betting that all the wild card teams are going to come from the Metropolitan Division.
I still like Buffalo. They had that awful start, but they've been looking better.
Yeah, but then some nights they're just I don't know. Like they blew the game in overtime yesterday. Okay.
I know.
And that's bad there. Okay, now. We got a little problem here, people.
6-3-1 their last 10.
Stanley, I'm doing a show right now. People are going to hear this. You got to chill your ass out. Okay.
This is all staying in, by the way.
Okay. Okay, Stanley, just tell everyone Michigan's going to win today and cover the spread.
Go Blue.
Go Blue. Okay, Stanley.
Calgary also losers of their last 3 now. Is this the bomb starting to fall out for them, do you think?
I hope not, but look at last night. They got slapped around a little bit. Okay, you know what I mean? But I think that Calgary. Hey. Okay, just wait a second here. We got the Stanley. What do you think of Calgary? What do you think? No, buddy.
He's not a Calgary guy, I don't think.
No, I obviously see that.
That's why he's jumping you.
That's what he's going to understand. Okay, sit. See how well if I'm a dog. People, I'm going to give my instant dog whispering move right now. Sit. In any event, I hope Calgary doesn't get out of here because the great thing about Calgary is this. They play a good brand of hockey. I like the way they skate. I like the way they bang. Their defense is young, but got a couple veterans. Kadri, why you guys ever let that guy go?
Oh, that's one of the worst trades in Leaf history.
Okay, there you go. And not only that, let's take it one step further. You better hope that Calgary's on the outside looking in because they say if there's going to be a contract traded, they even talked about the season, who would have a good contract to trade at trade deadline? Kadri's would be interesting.
He's got a lot of years left, though.
But it's a decent number with the cap going up. It could be a nice number for him to have. I'm just saying another insane thing I could bring up. What about at the trade deadline, Calgary's out of it? Would you think Toronto would be interested in bringing Kadri back?
Not at that tag. He's got 3 years left after this at $7 million.
And the cap's going up again next year. Could be interesting. I don't think it'll ever happen.
No,
Come on,
no.
That's farther away than my other theory, okay? But I hope Calgary sticks around because I really like the way they play. They're competitive. The goaltending seems to be more solid than they expected.
From Calgary, the guy I'd be interested in is Rasmus Andersson, the defenseman.
Oh, he's a great player. He's playing for. He's going to be playing for on the Swedish team, isn't he?
He has to be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, oh no, he's a very good player. I like Uyghur on that team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's his name? Is playing his best hockey since he's been there with a big contract. I'm having a brain. Huberdeau is playing some of the best hockey he's played since he's been in Calgary. Yari looked good early the first 10 games, but he can't seem to get the puck in the net anymore, even though he's playing good on both ends. And he's so young anyway, 21, 22, whatever he is. I'm really believing that. Like, I hope Calgary stays in the game.
Yari, who are you talking about?
What's that?
Who are you talking about?
Yari on Calgary. What's his name? Yari. Y-A-R-Y, what's his name? Or something like that. I always get.
I have no clue.
Check in the Calgary. We got Calgary's lineup.
There's Yari. Is that his first or last name?
Last name.
What?
Go look at the Calgary lineup. Stanley.
He's a forward?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's Huberdeau, Kadri, Kuzmenko, Coleman,
Go down the list.
Backlund, Mantha, Sharangovich, Lomberg, Rooney, Pospisil, Coronado. Oh, Zari.
Zari, yeah.
With the Z, yeah.
Okay, what did I say? Did I tell you I'm dyslexic? I can see the guy know them, but no. Okay. No, you got it. No. We're having huge Stanley moments, but that's we'll get over them. So I think Calgary could be there. What I'm saying is about sometimes I think people play possum. Like when you get what's Edmonton doing? I think
they're in danger of missing the playoffs.
I don't think so either. I think they're just waiting around, getting through the things to get to
That's dangerous.
I know.
That's dangerous.
They've got the lineup to do it. And on any given night, look at McDavid now. He's back in the MVP talk. He's already back racing to the top of the scoring. Come on. Their biggest problem is can Skinner and the other goalie hold up.
And on their defense is weak too.
Yes, it is. But I mean, like, they could say maybe you're a playoff performer. Maybe Bouchard does something different in the playoffs. I don't know.
But you need more guys though. It's not just a Bouchard problem. It's a whole personnel issue.
So who do you think that would be around the league at the trade deadline? Because when it gets there, Edmonton's going to be looking for defense. Everyone's going to be looking for defense.
I mean, that's so tough to say at this time because like who's in, who's out. That's still so much up in the air.
Going away, but everyone will be looking for one. But I think that Edmonton will be looking for a defenseman just as hard as anybody else in the league, if not more. You know what I mean?
Honestly, that team could use 2 defensemen, a bottom 6 forward, and a goalie.
That sounds like everybody. One of the things I want to say is that
more than other people, though, they like desperately need those things.
Okay, so now when we look at Weston, which has changed the game since the beginning of the season, considering you have Minnesota on your list, I think that the LA Kings will probably be making a power ranking list if they keep going the way that they are.
Sure.
Because they're surprising teams that on paper they looked okay to start the season, what their performance is going to be, and now they're showing the performance. I thought LA. Remember I said I loved them last year, and I said, nah, I'm getting off this bandwagon? They look too good.
What's going to happen when Doughty comes back, though? That's going to
make it better because he'll
but the rest of the team's going to... He's never missed this amount of time before, though.
I think he's a good veteran that'll come in and play his role because they got 7 defensemen on LA now that are playing okay because they got one guy in the press box that's coming in and out. I see it the other night. So
I don't know, but like I'm just saying he's in his 30s.
Okay, we don't know how the injury's going to be, but we would check it out then.
He's never missed this amount of time before. He's missed training camp. He's going to be behind the 8 ball from day one.
The skating is what's going
that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah.
And if they try and force feed him, that never works, right?
Never.
But between Edmonton and Colorado, the way it's going now, it certainly looks like one of those two teams is going to miss the playoffs unless a Calgary kind of falls their way out of it. They're the only other team in there that I think is really the big one to find their way out. Stanley's getting the boot.
Yeah. We may have a couple barks on the show for a minute.
That's okay. Gonna barricade that door.
Yes.
Sorry, Stanley. Playtime's over.
There you go.
But I know you want to get to our Minnesota and LA, the real deal.
Okay, exactly. You know what I'm saying? I really like that kid Byfield. That plays
even though he hasn't put up the points.
No, but he's going to. He's one of those guys that's learning. He's only like 21. Kopitar is a way greater leader than I ever thought he was going to be. And their defense is solid, and their goaltending is holding up.
Yeah, Kemper's actually put up better numbers, especially lately.
And if you look at them now, and like I said this last week, and it's starting to rear its head, they played the least amount of home games of everybody else, and now that they're on a home thing, they're winning. Like they won their last two. Their last 2 games have been at home. So their record at 13-8-3, you can't.
It's not bad.
No, and they're 8 behind it. Now I think Vegas is going to stay where they are. That's why they're number 1 on my.
They have a nice cushion too.
Yeah, and they're going to stay where they are. The team that should be really scared about things is Vancouver.
You think so?
Yeah, like can 5 Canadian? It's a question all the time. Can 5 Canadian teams make the playoffs?
Well, how many are in line now?
Toronto, Winnipeg, Edmonton. Those are the gimmies.
Yeah.
Okay, Calgary.
Edmonton maybe not a gimme.
Okay, so then you got, who do you got after that? Is Ottawa going to give it a shot?
Ottawa and Montreal, no.
Okay, so they're out
no.
of there. Calgary's our one that we got to stay up there with because Winnipeg's going to.
So I guess Calgary, Vancouver, Edmonton, Winnipeg, Toronto. That's the
if they all make it.
Yeah.
Because Vancouver's in trouble. Demko's out in practice. He's looking good. What do you mean? Well, he's like the girl that's going to come out for the date.
Yeah, but Lankinen's been holding the fort there pretty well.
Oh yeah, but a couple nights ago he got raked, and they were saying one of the reasons is
perfect time for Demko to come back. Then
you know your theory about goalies getting tired because they run him hard for a while, and that's going to be the key to Toronto's success because neither Wall or Stolarz has played a million games, and if they can play the tandem that they are, they'll be perfectly set up for the playoffs, which is going to make it quite good. A lot of other teams are going to be like that. That's what scares me about my Carolina guys, like
because they're going to have to ride Kochetkov into the ground. For the time being,
and the other
right?
two guys they got, one of the guys let out a beach ball yesterday that changed that game when they were playing Florida.
Yep.
When he let in a beach ball, and then
Spencer Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
he's not quite ready.
850 save percentage.
No, he's not ready for prime time. You know what I mean? But I love Calgary as a team. They got the benefit, even though, and I pump his tires all the time. It's not a bad thing having Kotkaniemi as your third line center.
No, definitely not.
You know what I mean? And who's he playing with? He's playing with another European kid on his side. They don't score a lot, but they get their chances, and they're all like even players. They're not minus. That's why I like Calgary. But when I seen them last couple of games in their goaltending, I went, ooh, this wasn't what I thought we were getting 10 games ago. I thought you were going to get this kind of goaltending. So we're going to have to wait and see how that works out.
Absolutely. So
Do you think that Seattle's got any chance at getting it going?
It's getting worse by the day.
Really?
They're still there in 10th. I mean, but they're falling behind. It's like the Colorados, the Edmontons,
They're not going to get there, but I mean, I think they've got a bright future. Like some of their playing, like Shane Wright suddenly showing up as a two-way player that he's going to be. Montours look great with them.
But this is a team that was supposed to make the playoffs this year.
Think they're going to get there?
It's going to be tough. They need another top 6 forward.
Oh, 100%. I think they need another defenseman to move the puck out of their own zone because sometimes nobody brings the puck out of their zone when I watch their games. You see, that's one of the things, people, if you want to know why I could say about these teams on here, and as you can see as my setup here, I'm usually...
Well, they can't see.
Okay, but in any event, I'm usually... My bedtime's usually around 2 a.m., which usually means that's the end of the West Coast games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I get to see these teams and see how they play. And Seattle's, they're an entertaining team to watch.
Sure.
But I just think they're a couple pieces away because you were talking about them maybe leapfrogging L.A. to make the playoffs.
I thought that was a good chance.
That's what I mean. A lot of people were saying that when they were talking about the beginning of the season, who's going to miss the playoffs from last year and who's going to replace him when Seattle's name came up. And L.A. was one of the teams that is supposed to go back. Now I'm going to say Vancouver. I'm saying Vancouver better get their shit.
Sure.
Peterson's scoring this week. Suddenly he rose from the grave. He's doing okay. JT Martin's out for how long?
JT Miller. How
long is he going to be out? Huge.
Bester's missed a bunch of games.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? And their defense is good, but their fifth and sixth defense is good as like any other team in the league. They don't have nobody spectacular.
But Demko coming back is going to be a big boost.
When is he coming back?
Well, he's skating, so that's a sign.
Yeah, but he's been skating around there forever, they've been saying. Like, if you're going to skate that long, start playing, buddy. Isn't that the name of the game?
Sure.
We're going to have to wait and see. In any event, before we end this thing on the hockey, we
got a couple more things.
Okay, good. Go ahead, because one of the other... Okay, you go ahead now.
Well, we have Four Nations, but if you got something quick before that.
Yeah, okay, before the Four Nations, yeah. Okay. I don't understand their goal differential. That's why I say Boston's going to be out, because look at their goal differential is what, minus 15 or minus 20?
Yeah, it's bad.
Minus 19.
Oof.
The other team that intrigues me because it's been going down every weekend is Colorado is now minus 9. They were minus 16, minus 17 just a little while ago. I'm saying the sleeper team in the West is Colorado.
There's some issues there, though.
They can clean that up by the end of the year.
We should mention they actually just traded Annunen, their goalie, to Nashville with a 6th-round pick for Scott Wedgwood.
Interesting move, isn't it?
It feels a little desperate to get a little bit more of a veteran, I guess, backup in there.
Well, they need that because their goaltending's been shaky at best.
Yeah, but if Annunen turns out to be anything good, people are going to be ripping that trade in 5 years.
Of course because he's still young. You know what I mean? But Colorado, every time I see them, they're another. You know why they're entertaining? Because they don't always play all defense all the time.
Oh, sure.
So the game
Run and gun.
Yeah, so the game gets exciting. And there's 6 or 7 guys. Babushkin, back from his drinking problem, he's looking great.
Yeah.
What was he got? 9 points in his, how many games he been back? 7, 8? If you look him up, I don't have been there. He's been looking good.
Yeah.
Rantanen's looking like wow. And McKinnon's just a beast.
Yep.
Oh, and by the way, who's their quarterback?
Makar. Bob Yard 2.0.
Oh, he's just unbelievable out there. So, anyways, we're going to keep our close eye on all these hockey things that are going on, and all the things I'm saying is going to be right. Wait and see.
Yep. All right, so we'll do a little Four Nations preview. So, as you may or may not know, the Four Nations face-off rosters are going to be announced December 5th, so it's or 6th, whatever, right around the corner.
Pure bullshit.
Why is that?
Because it becomes marketing. I think that you really,
Okay, but we've been through this before. The Olympic teams are announced around this time, too.
Something's got to change. Just this year in particular, because there's guys that you would automatically think that are going to be on the team. Now we got to question them because of their
That's every year, though.
Well, but even more now. So they're always throwing all the names out. Like, you look at all this. All these guys are supposed to make it. You know my biggest bitch already because they named the first 6 guys.
6, yeah.
And I'm sorry, whatever it is. Like, Marchand's going to suddenly turn into Marchand when the playoffs are coming up again. Guy's long in the tooth. He's lost a step. He's going to be
He can play
the best
fourth line. It's okay.
6 minutes a game.
And penalty kill. So originally I was just going to do Team Canada, but I got a little carried away last night. I came up with the rosters for all 4 teams.
Okay, I want to hear the other teams first.
So, yeah, of course. We'll begin with Finland. So their forward group already named to the team are Barkov, Rantanen, and Aho.
What a great line.
Yeah.
What a great, great line that is.
The other 10 forwards that I have selected for them are Turi Lehkonen, Tuvo Teravainen, Rupi Hintz, Anton Lindell, Patrick Laine, Michael Granlund, Capo Caco.
Laine won't be ready.
Well, if he can't make it, then they'll just name a replacement. But they're gonna name him to the team.
Oh yeah, they got to.
It should be back by New Year, so he'll have some time to get ready.
He's skating.
Yeah. Where was I? Lindell, Laine, Caco, Kotkaniemi, Luo Sternen, the one on Florida, and I selected Joel Armia because I think they're going to need a good penalty killer.
I was wondering if he would come up too because I see him play a lot.
I looked at his stats. He is
solid.
He's one of the top, by the numbers, one of the top penalty killers in the league.
He's out there all day. That's the only time Dvorak looks good too because Dvorak can't score. But when those two go out and kill penalties, they're like good because we're a pretty good team. I can see Joel, like you know that you need on your team. You need that. He's that.
I think he'd be a great fourth liner, a great penalty killer for this team.
Yeah, well, wait to Team Canada. We'll talk about our that's them. But I think that'd be a great pickup for them, too.
The notable guys that had to leave off were Maselli from Utah, Tolvanen, and Eric Howla.
The guy from Utah is doing nothing.
Yeah, well, he's okay. I mean, Utah, again, like they have Seattle's problem, but even worse.
Okay.
In terms of like defensemen being able to get them the puck and the lack of top 6 forwards. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. But either way, he doesn't make my team. For defense, the 2 already named are Miro Heiskanen and Anton Lindell, or Esa Lindell, excuse me.
Heiskanen's one of the best defensemen in the league.
Yeah.
No doubt. This year he's proven it. He's just a great, big too.
Yep.
Big.
The other 5 defensemen I named for them are Henry Yokihiru, Mikola on Florida, Oli Mata, Rasmus Ristolainen, and Yanni Hakanpää.
I think Mikola of Florida, I think he's one of the most underrated defensemen in the league. Underrated. He's always out there. He's not the flash guy, but the situations, he's a situation guy. When that situation, he makes a big defensive play or he moves the puck to get the scoring play. Like he's never.
I mean, all these sweet Finnish defensemen are all kind of in that mold,
maybe
right?
that's where they got that. Yeah. Take care of your own end, but know how to move the puck because they're hitting more. But Finland was always a team that wasn't afraid to hit. They weren't Sweden.
No.
They weren't Sweden.
But the big problem with Finland is that they only have 7 defensemen that have played in over 5 games this year. So the 7th D was a little bit, because I ended up going with Hakanpää. The decision there was really between him and Valimaki. I looked at Valimaki's numbers. They've been awful this year. Doesn't have a single point, big minus, horrible penalty killer. And then there's also Vakanainen on Anaheim, the prospect. I think he's still injured.
I haven't really
He's been hurt he's only played 5 games so far this year. He's been hurt. So, I can't put him on the team. And in net, they got UC Saros already named to the team. I picked Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and Kevin Lankinen as the other two from Buffalo and Vancouver. Korpisalo was the number 4. Maybe there's an argument there for him to be on the team, but I couldn't put him on there myself.
Not the way that he's been playing. No.
Although he's picked it up as of late.
I like the Buffalo guy. I bet you he starts the first game.
No, it's got to be Saros.
Oh, I mean Soros. Yeah, you're right.
Pekka Luukkonen's going to be the number 2, I think.
Oh yeah, he'll be number 2. Yeah, I forgot about Soros. No, he's number 1 for sure. What am I? Even though Nashville's, we didn't bring them up. Like, where are they going?
Second last in the league. I think they're donezo.
Yep.
For Team Sweden, they have 3 forwards already named: Philip Forsberg, Mika Zibanejad, and William Nylander. Mm-hmm. The other 10 forwards I selected are Elias Pettersson, Jesper Bratt, Elias Lindholm, Adrian Kempe, Joel Eriksson Ek, Lucas Raymond, Fabian Zetterlund, William Karlsson, Leo Carlsson, and
Leo too.
Yeah, on Anaheim. He's putting up good numbers.
I don't see him enough, but I do see him on the box score.
And then the 13th forward, I've been going back and forth on this the last couple of nights. I'm going to go Alexander Venberg over Michael Backlund.
Really?
Yeah.
I like Backlund's experience, though.
I like him, too, but Venberg's just playing better this year.
I haven't seen enough of him, so
he plays with San Jose.
I don't see enough. But he's been playing with, what's his name, our Celebrini guy on a line, isn't he? Or is he in the
No, they're both centers.
They're both centers, right. I do remember his name. San Jose plays an interesting brand of hockey. They do. They're fun to
funky,
watch. Yeah, they're fun to watch. A couple of years away. But interesting lineup. I think all those guys that I heard, they'll be solid. They're not going to win it.
No, probably third place. The forwards I had to leave off were William Eklund, Nyquist on Nashville, just having an awful year. Hoglander from Vancouver and Victor Arvidsson. Also, Ricard Raquel is an interesting one. He could play all 3 forward positions, so that could make his spot on the team, but not quite enough for me.
Who does Ehlers from Winnipeg? What country is he from?
He's Danish.
Oh, so he doesn't even get it. He doesn't get a sniff. That's too bad.
Yeah. For defense, they have 3 already named: Gustav Forsling, Victor Hedman, and Erik Karlsson.
Yep.
The 4 I named were Rasmus Andersson, Rasmus Dahlin, Matthias Ekholm, and Hampus Lindholm.
It's not a bad defense score.
Lindholm, if he's not ready to go, I imagine Brodin is going to be his replacement.
Do you think they're going to have any issues in the dressing room with the Swedish coach firing his mouth off from across the pond?
I have no idea.
Interesting conversations we've been hearing tonight, but he's saying it over there because what, North America?
I mean, probably not, because it's all NHL guys here, right? It's not like European players or the guys playing in Europe are going to come over to play. If that was the case, that might cause a little bit of friction in the dressing room. But for this tournament, no, that's more of an Olympic problem, I think.
Well, we're going to wait to see around with it, because when he's saying that I'm not going to throw any guys under the bus, but when he goes, I got guys playing over here in my league that are better than some of the guys you're picking, that's a bad way to start a tournament. Come on, bro. Think about it. What are you doing? Well, coach is going, I didn't expect you to be here. Ooh, that's good for team chemistry, isn't it? Let's see what happens there. I've never been a Swedish fan.
I can tell. Some other guys that were tough to leave off: Adam Larson, one of the top penalty killers, right-hand shot. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, I think, should get a sniff too. I think he's going to fall just short of making the team, though.
Veteran experience with Stanley Cup ring. That could be the guy they want in the dressing room.
Sure.
That's a guy.
Although he does not have a lot of history with Team Sweden. They have a history of leaving him off, actually.
I wonder why. But because a lot of those guys that you're talking about on that Swedish team, they're young. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of young defensemen out there. Sometimes you need that veteran guy in the room. Well, they got Hedman.
Well, I mean, Hedman, Forsling, they've been Karlsson, Anderson. They've been there a long time.
Karlsson, okay, yeah, he's playing better.
Hampus Lindholm's been around like 10 years now.
I guess
almost 10 years. I don't think that's going to be an issue. And then in net, I got Philip Gustafsson, Samuel Ersson, and Jakob Markstrom. I could not give Ullmark a spot on the team.
Not the way that he's been playing. He looks terrible. Got the money. I guess the money is too heavy in his pocket. Can't kick out the pads. You know what I mean? You got all that money in your pocket. You can't get your leg up to get a save out. He's looked brutal.
Don't you hate when that happens?
Oh, does not like to have that problem. Bottom line is he just doesn't look like the same goalie. No. Is it because of the defense in front of him? Is the system, maybe? I wonder about that.
Well, my thing about him, I thought he was always kind of overrated.
Yeah, you've said that more than twice. But I'm just saying, his positioning this year looks terrible.
Yeah.
And isn't it because he's not confident? Because he played in front of the same guys for so long. You know what I mean? There's the chemistry there.
But at a certain point, you just got to stop the puck.
Oh, if it's coming at you, let it hit you in the crest. That's all you got to do. Let it hit you in the crest.
Team USA. This is where things get very interesting, especially up forward. So up front, they already named 3 forwards, Matthew Tkachuk, Austin Matthews, and Jack Eichel. The 10 other ones I selected were Jack Hughes, JT Miller, Jason Robertson, Tage Thompson, Kyle Connor on Winnipeg, Alex Tuck, Matthew Boldy, Dylan Larkin, Vincent Trocheck, and Brock Nelson. So Brock Nelson and Alex Tuck, I understand those might be a little bit of controversial choices, but Brock Nelson, I love his hands in front of the net, can do the dirty work.
Yeah.
You're going to love to have a guy there. And then Alex Tuck, he can do it all.
Oh,
Can penalty, especially with these, like, once you get down to 12th, 13th forwards, I start, like, penalty killing. That was an important thing for me.
Yeah. Oh, no, special teams is going to make a difference 100%. But I like the fact that if you're going to bring guys there, my other theory about it, bring guys that play together for a little chemistry.
Yeah.
And Tuck and Tage Thomas.
Tage Thompson, yeah.
Yeah, they're out in the ice together. 2 big boys doing a lot of crazy ass shit. Give them Tage plays center. I wonder who'd play wing with them, because that'd be a big ass line for them out there. Because I think that's the strength of the American team. No
Maybe
doubt.
like a Brock Nelson with them.
Oh, that would be interesting. That'd be a kamikaze line. Big boys that can score.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting line.
Some tough guys that had to leave off. Brady Tkachuk and Clayton Keller were the 2 ones that
I'm surprised. I think Brady might make it. They may bring both brothers.
I think so, but I
think he's
going to
make it on his grit.
Yeah.
I bring him on his grit. What if he's your
but
fourth
he's
line
going to take
guy?
the stupid penalty for them.
That's what you got to realize. But he won't be so fired up because Ottawa's a mess and he's just losing his mind because he hates losing. I love a guy like that. Like the other night when he pulled that stunt at the end of the game, like he's going to fight.
Oh, now you're a fan of his? I thought you hated him.
I'm not hating him, but I'm not his biggest fan. But the fact that you show that much competitive fire. Now, he didn't look like he was looking for Jake Paul or Tyson, anyone to fight, which is kind of stupid, a guy of his caliber showing that kind of behavior.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about a short tournament, you need that kind of grit.
Sure.
Could get dirty, the middle of the ice gets muddy. I think he'll make the team.
Yeah. Some other guys that were a little bit tough to leave off, Jake Gensel, Chris Kreider, Brock Besser, Alex DeBrincat, and Cole Caulfield. But, I mean, there's just so many guys.
I think that Caulfield's going to make the team because of his power play scheme.
I don't think so.
Well,
all these guys can play the power play, though. That's the thing.
I think he's got some shiftiness about him. What was the other guy that you mentioned up there? I kind of went yes or no, and then you didn't bring Caulfield in. I heard he's sitting on the fence. The word he's sitting on the fence. Some people have him in his lineup. You know, all the experts?
Sure.
Like I've seen.
Like the mock draft experts?
Yeah. You know how much I validate them. I shouldn't even bring that up. But I have seen his name bandied about on about half the lineups. Half the lineups he's on the team, half the lineups
I think he's
not.
still a little bit of a long shot.
I think he's too small. That's what they're going to
there
look
you
at
go.
right there. When we're just talking about Tage Thompson and Tuck and then put what's his name on the wing.
Because, like I said before, when you're
But
coming
that
down
was-
to like these 10, 13, 10, 11, 12, whatever players, penalty killing. He doesn't do that.
Okay, but I mean, imagine him in the power play, but imagine him playing on a line with those 2 big hooligans.
I got you.
That
But
would be
there's
amazing.
There's
Look at
other
what
guys
he
I'd
has
rather have over him.
He's got the shiftiness because he played his best when they had big guys on his line. 'Cause when Slafkovsky was playing his best hockey, he did all the dirty work. That's what he needs.
But is he going to end up on a line with those big guys? It's a question, too, because there's only so much
Let
ice time.
me
There's
coach.
only one puck.
Let me coach. I think that'd be a great line. Tage Thomas, Tuck, and Caulfield.
I think a bunch of guys would need to be injured for him to make the team.
But
either way.
I say he's outside looking in.
Yeah.
Definitely.
For defense, the 3 already named, Quinn Hughes, Adam Fox, and Charlie McAvoy. The other 4 I named, Zach Werenski, Jacob Slavin, John Carlson, and Brock Faber.
I like Brock Faber a lot. I think he's going to, his star is going to rise after this tournament because I actually believe that the American defense is kind of weak.
What?
I think they're
very strong, actually.
Adam Fox is not a tough player.
Okay.
Okay, so they better have some grit back there. Where's their grit?
Slavin, Carlson, those guys can fucking knock you in the face.
Okay, but their speed element and Carlson's getting a little long.
Werenski's a great 2-way guy.
We'll see. We'll see what's going to work. But I don't think his defense is as strong as people think they are.
People might think that people are thinking they might take McDonough as a defenseman too. But just who do you leave off? That's the problem.
Okay, that gets back to my theory about in the dressing room. You know that guy? Like we're talking about Olaf Eriksson or like guys like that.
Ekman
Larson, yeah, that guy. I could see McDonough making the team for that reason. And not only that, McDonough will be out there during the tough times. Like, you know, when shit's going to happen, let's take Adam Fox. You've been looking good when the play's been dipsy doodle. Now it's getting a little tougher. Who you want out there? And they're going to need. And a lot of those guys they're semi-tough, but there's nobody going to run you through the boards or anything like that. You know what I mean? And this game is going to get physical.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because they're going to play a short time. Everybody's going to be going. There's money involved in this. We'll have to wait and see.
In nets, I took Connor Hellebruck, Jake Ottinger, and Anthony Stolar. So that means I left Swayman, Lyon, and Dustin Wolf off the team.
Will Stolar's get a look?
He should.
He should get a look, but I don't think he has a rep.
I mean, he's played for Team USA before. He's won some hardware with Team USA, and he's playing way better than Swayman. So I just went by, like, the way I handled this was, like, let's just assume that, like, all, like, whatever, the 6 guys that they named are already named. Fine. But then now, you know, the brain trust, they all had to go to the hospital or something. Someone had to take over.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I would like to help him out because that goes back to my theory. I want guys that are hot, that are playing together. I'd rather move a tandem like that than just take a guy on his reputation. You know what I mean? That's how I'm thinking, because I've been watching these tournaments for years, and Canada, as time, has picked odd guys. Why'd you pick that guy? And he turned out to be, that's the type of player you needed. Like one time way back.
Well, that also has worked against them, too, in the past.
Well,
Rob Zamner in the Nagano Olympics.
Okay, whoops. I didn't even get him in the first place, but one time way back in the day, they picked up John Tonelli off the Islanders as their fourth line guy, and he was one of the best guys on the team for one of the Team Canadas back in the day. And he was one of those guys, I don't know, but the brain trust was smart enough to understand. That's one thing I like about the guys at the top of the Canadian hierarchy of building this team. They understand the importance of having a Selke type guy,
Sure.
a penalty killer type guy, and a guy that's not afraid to put his nose in there when things get rough. Hence the reason I think Brady Tkachuk's going to make the team.
You ready for Team Canada?
This should be fun.
All right, so we all know that the 5 forwards already named are Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, Nathan McKinnon, Braden Point, and your buddy, Brad Marchand.
Vermin.
Who's going to have a nice A on his sweater.
Oh, just killing me. I seen him getting his nose cracked. We
We got to keep this moving. We're already 2 hours in.
Okay, let's get quick. Yeah.
So the other 8 forwards, I named are Mitch Marner,
100%.
Sam Reinhart,
Yep.
Mark Scheifele,
Yep.
Mark Stone,
No.
he's making the team, so Anthony Cirelli. Did I say Hyman?
Hyman ain't making the team.
I think he isn't going to make
He's
the
not
team.
making it. If he makes a team, then I'm not even watching.
That's a lie. Travis Konechny.
I like him a lot. Big
And-
power forward kind of guy.
And my final forward, Robert Thomas,
Really?
who is not getting any buzz, which I do not understand.
None. Is that because he's not in the market we don't see?
Possibly. But, like, I mean,
I heard his name come up too, and I had to go look to see who he was. I'm telling you honestly.
he scored 86 points last year.
Thank you very much. Because sometimes when you're playing in the market, you don't always notice guys. Right? So when I heard his name come up, I had to go look up who he was. Who's this guy? You know what I mean? It caught me way off guard, but I don't think he's going to make it.
Even though he probably should. Some tough guys to leave off: Brendan Hagel, Tom Wilson, Sam Bennett, Barzal, Bedard, Celebrini, Nugent Hopkins, Duchesne, Lafreniere.
Duchesne should be on the team. He's having.
I know who I'm taking off, though.
Well, we got to think about it, but I think you didn't bring up Alex Lafreniere, did you?
I was just about to say a guy who I left off: him, Verhaeghe, Tavares, Suzuki.
Suzuki, I don't think deserves to make it. Okay, he's just not big enough.
He's been getting mentioned more than Tavares, though, which I find kind of funny.
I do too, because I think that Tavares is a name that you should put up there. Going with my theory, the way he's been playing with Matthews, right? I mean, the way he's been playing with Marner right now.
Yeah, but you can play Marner with anybody.
Agreed, but that chemistry is something you need in a short tournament. I'll take that to the bank. Not only that, Tavares can kill penalties. He's good in the faceoffs.
Sure.
So when you
Tavares doesn't really kill penalties, but
I mean he could.
He doesn't have the skating.
But he's a good checking guy.
Sure, 5-on-5.
5-on-5. He's very good in his own zone, and like I said, he's a plus player. Very smart on the ice, and he's got good chemistry with Marner. Now, I'd wondered who the right winger would be with them.
Left winger, you mean?
Yeah, Marner's right winger. Yeah, okay. Let me get my dyslexia out of the way. But I wonder who would play on the wing with them if he does make the team. Because going down the
I
center.
don't think Tavares is making it.
Okay, so let's put it this way. We got centers moving to the wings. So right away we know
Point.
McKinnon.
Point's the big one.
McKinnon too. McKinnon's going to play on a line with Crosby. Come on, that's going to happen. And it might even be with Marner.
I don't know about that.
Why not?
I would have McDavid, McKinnon, Crosby 1, 2, 3 down the middle.
Who?
McDavid, McKinnon, Crosby is my centers. I like strength down the middle. You know that.
Okay, I agree with that too. But I'm saying if you can have a line out there that looks like that, come on, McKinnon, Sydney, Marner.
Maybe that's a break-in case of an emergency kind of thing.
If they come out there and they're blowing people away right off the top, you're going to let them play. That's what I'm going to say now. That might disrupt some of the other combinations that you want to put out there, considering that McKinnon is probably playing some of the best center in the league as we speak. But they're going to have a lot of say on what they want to do. This is Sid. This is Nova Scotia boys.
I know.
And you don't think they're going to have some say about when they get in
So Marchand's going to play with them.
Direct the line. Just ruin the goddamn line.
Well,
I think they should put somebody over like that kid from Philadelphia. Can he play on the wing?
Konechny?
Yeah, like a guy like that.
He's a winger.
Yeah, so they could put him out there like that. A guy like that, because that would, you know what? He doesn't get to play with all those type of players all the time. He could show a lot more for a guy like him. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I really wish that he played a little bit longer. We could see a little bit more about him. But the more I see about this Celebrini kid, he is so much fun to play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, he's not ready for prime time. And I don't think that Bedard should even get the time of day. He's an Olympic prospect for 2 years. We're talking about, you're saying right now, just like in your power ratings, what's going on right now. Bedard's turned into a petulant little kid. He's got to snap out of it. Now, the problem is, he doesn't have the type of players that plays on his caliber. Well, once upon a time...
Yeah, you could argue that Celebrini has better talent around him now.
Oh, I'm not saying... No. I agree with that. I've seen San Jose play lately. Like I said, they're a funky team to watch. They're going to be going good. But you got to look at it like this way. When you're talking about the development of guys, like when they're raising it up. Sid had to play for a shitty team when he started.
Sid had better players around him, though.
Okay, but anyways, you got to get over that. You got to be who you are and show you got to do.
At the same time, it's like we talked about with Utah and
small.
But that's not the only. Hold on, that's not the only problem though.
Small. Okay, small.
Can I talk?
Okay, sorry.
No, you need. It's like Utah and Seattle. The problem we mentioned there. You need guys that can help you move the puck. Chicago, it's a black hole back there. What defenseman do they have that can move the puck?
TJ Brody, don't they have?
He's not puck mover.
Who's the other guy they got?
Seth Jones.
Oh, yeah, Seth Jones. Yeah. I'll stay
at
home,
see, you're
guys.
laughing. There you go.
Anyways, I'm just thinking this much. I think he's still.
And the forwards that surround him are nothing to write home about either.
No, okay, I'm not saying that. But if you're supposed to be the generational talent that you're supposed to be, then you got to show a little bit more you're showing. Like, I don't want to see him slamming his stick against the boards anymore. Is that your big move now? Bang. How many times you see him do that this year? More than twice.
I mean, Sid was like that in his younger days, too. Yeah, but so was McDavid.
Okay, but I'm going to tell you this much. Those guys still had their nose in front of the net. I don't see Bedard putting his nose in front of the net. Sid was crashing the net and swinging his stick. McDavid was going to the net. That's how he got hurt that first year.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I don't see Bedard doing any of that. Not lately.
Well, that's because he's stuck in his own zone.
Because he's small.
No, it's because the team sucks.
We're going to have to wait and see. I hope the best for him because he could be one of the great Canadian prospects of the future. If Bedard even gets a sneeze on this team, they're insulting Celebrini because they're talking about...
He's not going to get on the team.
No, of course not.
But my prediction is by this time next year, the script
I
will
hope
flip,
it will.
and we will be talking about him and possibly Celebrini for the Olympics.
Okay, I hope. That's my fever and hope because I like the kid. I like his style and stuff, but he's still playing to me too much Junior A. Shit that he got away with Junior A. Don't work in the NHL.
Well, Junior, you mean?
What's that?
Yeah, I guess so. Well, no. Yeah, Junior. He played with Regina.
Yeah. So, like, he's got the skills. Like, look at it. He's got great hands. He's got great movement. Part of the problem now is the NHL has switched it to a tougher game. One of my things is talking about how many times you see the start of any sports show now. You show the activity that went on in the game. That doesn't matter. Stage fights.
Yeah.
Guys hitting each other.
We're getting off topic. We need to get back to Team Canada.
Hence the reason why Bedard's not going to make the team because he's not tough enough. He's not big enough, and he's got to get his skills better up and change his attitude.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm getting at.
For defense, the only guy named here was Cale Makar. The 6 I added were Devin Taves, Chase Theodore, Alex Pietrangelo, Morgan Riley, Brandon Montour, and Josh Morrissey.
Kind of like that. I really think that we should take a look at Dougie Hamilton because he's on a top team that's playing there. Good power play guy.
They can all be good power play. You can only have 2 defensemen play power play. I already got Makar and Montour. Is he above them?
No, but you got to have a second power play unit.
Yeah, Montour's on there.
Okay. If Montour makes it,
I think Montour's going to make it.
You do? I hope he makes it, but with his pedigree. But he hasn't been on the top of the list because I think that Pietrangelo, I shouldn't say that because I've already picked Vegas to go to the conference finals, and he's playing on that team. But I just think that other guys, I thought maybe playing a little bit better. Maybe I should take a closer look at it because if you're going to send out there Shea Theodore with Pietrangelo, you can't bitch about that.
No.
So that's one of the probably reasons they're going to be there. Hence the reason that Taves will be playing with Makar. So, I understand that. And Josh Morrissey deserves to be on the team. There's no doubt about it. So if that's Montour and you're 6, that's better than the 6 I see playing for United States of America.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So that should be interesting. Well, it's going to go down to the wire because another guy that we brought up did you have Cicerelli on the team? Cirelli on the team?
Yeah. He's my 13th forward.
Okay, yeah, I think that he's my 13th guy too. And if he gets more look, he's just playing great hockey.
Point per game now.
And not only that, his plus minus is like you're saying, special teams guy.
Can play in all situations.
Yeah. So I think that he's going to be a guy. He was like, okay, a month ago, outside looking in. Not anymore. Not anymore. He's going to be there. I think we basically got the same style of guys that were going to be there. The two guys that I really think that should get more of a look, though, on this type of a series and that's one of the best lines going right now, is that Duchesne, Seguin, and Marchman or whatever. That's their second line. Do you see them play? They're playing at some of the best levels they played in their career. They were the best line on the ice yesterday when I watched the Dallas game.
Yeah. So well, Duchesne, again, like we talked about this a little bit before, never really been a Team Canada guy, though. And again, when
he was young, when he was very young.
Still, I see him who are you going to take off?
I'm not really sure.
That's the problem.
But then, okay, the other guy I'm going to talk about like that, like it's not analytically perfect, but we got to look at a guy like Sam Bennett.
Yeah, I thought about him.
He's another guy that's got the intangibles that we can't.
Wait, so who are your 13?
Okay. Let me take a good look at this because I've got like 16 guys on my list.
So, oh my God.
I did. I couldn't stop myself. Okay. I wish I could take Marchand off, but I can't. So I'm going to stay with McKinnon, Connor, and Sid. Sam Reinhart.
And Braden Point.
And Braden. Oh, yeah, Braden Point. Braden Point's going to make the team. Come on.
Well, he's automatic. He's already on the team.
Maybe that's not even a question mark on there. After that, I want Sam Reinhart. I want Marner. I want Scheifele.
Yep.
From Winnipeg. I want Cirelli.
Yep.
I want him too. Who am I missing now? Let me keep going down the list.
Konechny?
I want Konechny on there, but I'm missing somebody else. That's about 13 right there.
No, that's you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I want Duchesne.
Okay, wow.
I want Duchesne on that list. 12. Who am I missing that?
You need 2 more.
Bring up your list again, because I think there's somebody in your list that I agree with.
The guys I named that you haven't are Hyman, Thomas, and Stone.
That's why.
Tom Wilson?
No. I would take... so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to take Sam Bennett as one of those guys.
Okay.
That's the guy I went on there, and I'd like to take Alex Lafreniere, too, because I want to give him a score play. I think he could do it. If he played on a line with, like, say he went on a line with McKinnon or one, but no, that guy's great. He's
good.
He's on the Rangers right now. I notice him every game.
Yeah.
And he bangs.
Yeah, he does.
He bangs. So that's what I'm saying. Like, he's one of the bright spots on the Rangers right now. He's not the reason they're losing.
No.
And he's changed his attitude. Remember how he was always one of those laissez-faire guys? But he's really, how old is he now? 26?
No, not that. He's like 22, 23.
I thought he was a little older.
No.
Anyways, I like the way he skates. I like the way he shoots. I like the way he's got a little bit of power forward in him. Playing with these top line level and the guys, he could score a lot of goals.
So who do you have on your defense? Makar's already an automatic.
Okay, I got Makars. I got Taves. I have to go with Pietrangelo, and I have to go with Shea Theodore.
Okay.
Because they were both going to play there. I want Montour in the team. And what was the other guy you had? Because
I had Morrissey and Riley.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if Riley's going to get there, but I think that you say Cooper's going to like him.
Cooper likes him, apparently.
Apparently like that. I really like I wish Noah Dobson would get it, like the 7th guy.
He's having a rough year, unfortunately.
But that's because
could bounce back for the Olympics.
That's what I'm saying. But how do you get exposure? If he's their 7th guy playing on a better team, it'd be better for the Olympics. He's one of the guys I would bring along just because. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because I think he's got all the tools. You know what I mean? He makes some bad plays in his own end, but everyone's serving pizzas in their own end.
That's the big thing. I was reading his scouting report. That's the big thing. He's got to limit his mistakes.
Yes, in his own end. That's what he does. But all his other thing, and he's still young. So he
Sure.
can learn to do that. But I like everything about the guy, but I've seen him give up some pucks this year. You just went.
So we're on the same 7D then?
I'll take the same 7D.
Yeah, some guys tough to leave out. Uyghur, Sanheim, Ekblad, Doughty, Pareko.
I really looked at Ekblad a lot. I thought Uyghur was a sleeper, but the more I look, I'm going, no, who's he going to replace?
That's the thing. And then
Ekblad I like a lot, though.
He's a little bit of a safe pick, though, I feel like.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I had him on my list, but then I kind of went, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Goaltending is a real fun one. So
I got mine solid.
I have Binnington, I got Logan Thompson, I got Cam Talbot.
I've got Billington, Aiden Hill, and Logan Thompson.
Aiden Hill's been garbage this year, though.
Played great yesterday.
Doesn't matter. How about the rest of the season?
He hasn't been junk. So if we start
What's his save percentage?
I take
it's like in the 80s, isn't it?
I make the big save at the right time. I'm happy with him. I'm not going to be worried about his save percentage at the moment. I think Logan Thompson should be a guy that gets a big look at because as much as you've been preaching about Washington, why are Washington there?
Oh, goaltending. That was one of my big things about them this offseason. They got better at every position, including goaltending with him.
Every time I see him, he's been solid. Don't you? If he started the first game for Canada, would you be upset?
Nope.
That's what I'm saying. And
Binnington, as great as he's been, he makes me nervous.
That's only because he's playing on a shit team. So who would your fourth goal?
No, even before.
Okay, who would you leave off of the guys that you thought that you would leave off goaltending wise? I keep hearing Montembeau. Montembeau's guys.
Well, I gave him my three.
But
Binnington, Thompson, and Talbot.
Any other guys you considered?
Darcy Kemper, Aiden Hill, maybe even Marc-Andre Fleury, just as a team guy. As your third goalie?
Okay, I would say for my theory about guy in the dressing room. Okay,
Yeah.
I would take that there. But I think I think Logan Thomas is going to rise up.
Thompson,
I think he's going to rise up as our goalie. But I think that's enough hockey talk. We are going.
Well, we got to do our picks.
Oh, right, and here we go. I got them ready to go.
All right. So last week, you beat me 9-7.
Ooh.
You were 9 for 15.
Ooh.
This week, 12 games on the slate. Beginning with your Montreal Canadiens visiting the New York Rangers. Wow, You're going with the Rangers.
Rangers.
I actually guessed what your picks would be. I was wrong for that one.
No.
So we're both on New York.
Yeah.
Carolina Hurricanes. I almost said Carolina Panthers. Carolina Hurricanes at the Florida Panthers. I'm going to choose Florida to defend home ice.
I was going to yesterday because it was such a tough game. I think that unless Pat Tchaikovsky does something spectacular tonight, and I really like Carolina, I think Florida's going to win at home tonight too. I seen yesterday's game. It was a great game.
I did not expect that either. I thought you'd choose Carolina.
No, not going there.
Toronto Maple Leafs at the Tampa Bay Lightning. The return of Austin Matthews and Matthew Nyes. I got to go with the Leafs.
I'm going with the Leafs too.
Wow, I thought you were going to go Tampa.
No. Not Saturday night. With Matthews coming back, the boys...
But home team Saturday night. I thought that would be your thing.
I like that, but I just have a funny feeling that they're going to rise up because that rivalry there, they're going to remind Tampa Bay, we can beat you.
Yep.
So let's continue to do it.
Washington Capitals at the New Jersey Devils. I'm going to choose the Capitals to steal this one on the road.
No.
I knew
You're talking about
that.
Jersey. I'm taking Jersey all day.
Calgary Flames at the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm going to choose Pittsburgh to defend home ice.
Have their longest winning streak of the season. I'm in. That'll keep Sid out of Toronto.
Yeah. Philadelphia Flyers at the St. Louis Blues. I'm going to choose the Blues to defend home ice.
100% on a Saturday night in St. Louis?
Yep. Ottawa Senators at the LA Kings. I'm on LA.
Come on.
Ottawa stinks. Buffalo Sabres at the New York Islanders. I'm going to choose the Sabres to steal it on the road.
No, you know me and St. Patrick. I'm taking the Islanders all day.
Nashville at Minnesota. Minnesota for me.
6-1.
Minnesota for you.
6-1.
7-1. Let's go.
Okay.
Edmonton Oilers at the Colorado Avalanche. I went back and forth on this one, but I'm going to say Colorado.
Wow, we're a lot the same. I'm taking Colorado to get this one too. Take the over in this game, people. Take the over.
Defense won't be an option. Utah HC at the Vegas Golden Knights. I'm going to choose Vegas at home.
Come on, that should be the easiest game of the night. That should be the gimme game. They should take that off the board on Pro Line. Come on, think about it.
And last but not least, the San Jose Sharks at the Seattle Kraken. I'm going to choose Seattle to defend home ice.
I went back and forth because I've been falling in love with San Jose lately, but at home, no. I got to take Seattle at home because they can't afford to lose these games at home if they're going to have any chance of taking that run at the playoffs. But one of my new favorite teams is San Jose to watch.
Okay.
That's you know what though? That just tell you I have a sickness problem. Who sees all the West Coast games but me? I see them all.
There's worse teams to watch.
Oh, that's true too. And you know what? I've been finding a lot of times the late night hockey games are better than the late night basketball games. I'll tell you.
Won't argue with that.
No doubt.
So we are on the same for 10 of the 12 games, actually.
Wow.
Not what I expected.
Just been changing my mind a bit. Which gets us to the number one monolith in the room today. The NFL.
The NFL.
The NFL. Can you say the NFL?
Power rankings time.
Okay.
You ready to go?
Yes, I am. Okay, that's my other thing. So you want me to go first?
Sure.
Okay. Oh, where's my list?
I can go if you need.
Okay, go ahead, yeah.
Number 5, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 4, the defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. Number 3, the team that they beat just a couple years ago in the Super Bowl, the Philadelphia Eagles. Number 2, the team just across Lake Ontario, the Buffalo Bills. And number 1, don't you dare say light blue. That's Honolulu blue.
Thank you very much.
We finally
got our house in order. Honolulu blue. Defend the Den, one pride, number 1 rated team to win the Super Bowl at the moment, and that makes me nervous. Anyways, my teams are the same except for who am I missing now? The top 4. My number 1 is Detroit. Number 2 is Buffalo. Number 3 is Philadelphia. Number 4 is Kansas City, and number 5 is survey says
not Pittsburgh.
I believe it is. I had it down there. I'll go with Pittsburgh too. I can't give Baltimore that time of day because they just weird me out way too much. And everybody else is too wishy-washy when you think about it, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's no consistency along the way when you're trying to figure out, okay, who's doing what, where, and why. It just doesn't play out for you. Now, what we should be doing when we're talking about these teams is look at their schedule, because if we are wise, this is the time of the year where you could make some money because the patterns have been established on what teams you're going to do. The reason I'm saying that is because I kicked myself on 3 picks I made in the last week, including the Detroit Lions on Turkey Day. If you had asked me personally, and I would stay away with it, as a diehard disciple that I am, I would have told you that Chicago was a good bet to cover the spread against the Lions. But I was too stubborn to even... what would you call that? Entertain that thought.
Yeah, so we should say for our Thanksgiving Day picks, we were both on Detroit.
Yeah.
I was on the Giants. You were on the Cowboys. We were both on Green Bay. And then you were on the Chiefs. I was on the Raiders. So we're both 2 for 4 right now.
That's not a bad way to start. The other teams that are on there that we got to say are on the horizon is the other team that I was going to put ahead against Pittsburgh because I hate them so much too is honorable mentions, the Minnesota Vikings. Mm-hmm. Can't get away from that. And this is what drives me crazy. I was saying about the NFC North. We're talking about it. We're the 11-1 Detroit Lions, okay? Let's look at it this way. Normally when you say you're 11-1, what are we going to adjust to get to the playoffs? I'm so nervous right now because the division is so crazy. Look who do we play the next 2 games. We play Green Bay and Buffalo. There's a possibility that, what if we lose both games and Minnesota wins? There we are. So suddenly we're a wild card team. So I keep telling everybody, I am so happy at the place that the Detroit Lions are at because they've never been here in the history of my life. But let's not take this lightly, people. We got 5 games to go. Or is it 6? 11-1.
5 games.
Yeah, that's right. We got 5 games to go. And then who do we play out of those 5? San Francisco, Minnesota, Buffalo, Green Bay, and Chicago. In Chicago. That's not what you call the easiest schedule that to roll through for the end of the year. But no, at this time. But then again, let's just say what happened last year. Last time I checked, Philadelphia was 10-1 last year. So just be careful. Yeah. Like, don't start planning the parade anywhere down Gratiot Avenue, anywhere in Detroit.
Well, Philadelphia, there was kind of signs of it before they faltered down. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, there was. It was the smelling in the dressing room and all of that stuff like that. So I think they've seemed to rectify the problem, and nobody's making fun of Sirianni anymore.
Well, my thing is, like, Detroit doesn't have that problem that Philly had last year.
Oh, no. That one, we should be okay. But look at what happened. We had a couple of major defensive injuries towards the end of the game, and that's when Chicago came back on us. So we're going to have to tighten up, and we got to play Green Bay this week, the next Thursday. Thank God it's at home because Green Bay's rising up, and their defense is better than to be expected. But our top 4 is pretty well, that's the way it should be.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So I guess we should go around the league. And the number one thing I want to say, I don't know if you want to agree with me on this, but I'm going to start another campaign to say this. I'm a running back guy. My whole life I've been a running back guy. We've noticed in the last few years all this talk about devaluing of the running back. How's that working out for a lot of teams in the league?
Oh, the Giants are making a big mess of that.
Poster child of
God.
that. With that being said,
Well, hold on. They let one of the best running backs in the game go to their biggest rival.
dumbass for starting.
And they basically made an ass of themselves on TV as well on the HBO. Was it the Hard Knocks?
They showed it again on McAfee the other day.
Oh, they love that clip.
Oh, you have to, because look what happened. Like,
Then the only guy is the mayor. The owner was like, I don't know if we should do this.
and he's the owner.
Yeah.
And they convinced the owner. What do you think now? Everyone gets shoveled out the door. They pull the bulldozer and just push them all down the road and say, let's start it again. Because that's going to live in infamy.
Sure.
That little clip's going to live in infamy, which brings me to my point of the campaign I want to start. The number one person candidate for the MVP in the NFL this year is Saquon Barkley. God bless Josh Allen. Lamar Jackson's having.
You think he's the number one candidate?
No doubt about it. He's going over 2,000 yards and
Wow.
over 2,000 yards in total offense. He might even get more. He might break Eric Dickerson's record. I probably won't get the rushing record, but look what the guy has done in that league. The guy's had 3 70-yard runs, 4 60-yard runs.
Mm-hmm.
He's got more yards right now than he's had any time in his career for a season. He's already
Fair enough.
about that, which just bodes well about the thing about we say about a football team. Have a good O-line, a tough D-line. What has Philadelphia got? Both.
Yeah.
They are really our sleeper
The trenches.
team. The trenches. They are the number one team there. I'm afraid of Philadelphia. Anybody else in the NFC doesn't bother me at all. We can figure out a way to beat Minnesota. We can figure out a way to beat San Fran. We can figure out a way to beat Green Bay. But Philly's
It doesn't scare you the potential of playing Minnesota or Green Bay in the playoffs. The division game kind of puts a wrinkle in the whole equation, don't you think?
Every time. But I mean, if we and there's not a lot of home field advantage between these teams, as you can say. It was our first win on Thanksgiving Day in 6 years. Or 7 years. So, let's just say we love the Den, defend the Den, but shit happens in Ford Field, let me tell you. I've seen it. But the bottom line is, it would make it more intense because we could play Green Bay next week, and then we could end up playing them again in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, not all is done. Now, do I think now? I really believe all 3 teams are going to make the playoffs. Don't you agree?
Oh, 100%.
Which just eliminates a lot of the other teams around the league. Because we're just going to say, if you had our power rankings, Green Bay, if you had our top 7, Green Bay could be number 7. You could say Minnesota, like after the top 5, who you want to say? Let's put in Minnesota. Let's put in Green Bay.
Yeah, probably Green Bay right now would be my number 6.
Yeah, like how could you not say that? I'd say Minnesota. I might say put them up there.
Yeah, but either one of those 2 teams can't go
be
wrong.
Back in there because some of the other teams will go around. We'll get to it. Now that we're talking about this because we're running a little bit too long with this. Anyways, to make a long story short, if we're going around the conferences, really easy. First of all, I still think the 3 teams from the NFC North are going to make it.
Yeah.
NFC South, only 1 team's going to make it. I don't care who it's going to be.
Same with the West.
Same with the West. It's going to make it. So that brings us down to all of a sudden Washington's beginning to falter.
Well, my big question is Washington and the Rams, if those teams are just both falling apart.
Well, that's what I'm starting to wonder because the Rams are there. But we don't know who's going to win because those guys all got to play each other a bunch of times for the rest of the season. So who could win?
It's probably going to be a 9-8 team, like maybe 10-7. I don't know about that, though.
I'm going with a 9-8 team to win the division because I was talking Arizona last week, and what did they do? They looked terrible against Seattle. The team that's their offense is supposed to be suddenly moving. They score 6 points. It's a division game at this point in time. So how can you trust them? The Rams look great, but the teams are a little better than them. They can't get over the hump against teams that are on their level or less. They have no problem handling. So, and I love Stafford, but I can't see them going on there. So who's going to be the other team? Tampa Bay and Atlanta maybe both sneak in?
No, we just said one of the teams from the South makes it in. That's it.
Okay, but if you're making teams, the 7 teams make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 3 from the North. The 3 division winners. That's 6.
I still think Washington figures out a way to make it in.
Their record says no, but they're 3 in a row losses now, right?
Yeah.
And their schedule is a last place schedule.
But they play Tennessee, and then they have a bye week after that.
Tennessee, most underrated team in the league.
They play them at home, though.
Who?
Washington.
Then they got a good chance to win that.
Yeah.
But Tennessee, don't mess with Tennessee. Number 1 defense in the league. So we'll leave it at that. That seems to be who the playoff teams are going to be. Any games last week that guy? Okay, we'll go. Wait a second. We'll go to the AFC going on. Too bad about Miami.
Yeah, they're done.
AFC East.
Well, I mean, you know what? If we're going to give Indianapolis a chance, we got to give Miami a chance still.
Well, the only reason I'm giving Indianapolis a better chance than Miami.
The division?
Yeah, not only that, and the strength of schedule is there. So when you go there, nobody else is making it. We don't have to talk about that team from Gotham City. Like, forget about talking about them because they're
Gotham
done.
City.
New York.
Oh,
Done. Don't even talk about them. They're done, so no one's going there. So we go to AFC North. Pittsburgh and Baltimore are both making the playoffs.
yeah, Bengals are done.
Bengals are done. We can't get nothing out of them. So then you go to the
South.
The South, AFC South. Who's going to be going there?
So Houston is starting to falter right now. I don't know what to make of this team.
They don't. You know what it is? I think they're going. I think this week that they're not going to cover the spread.
I
Personally.
don't think so either.
Okay, so but I'm saying their time to rise up and do it. Now my big mistake was this. Remember I kept talking Tennessee, and the last second I took Houston.
Yeah.
That's why don't be stupid. People don't think. Remember I said, hey, there's a division game, and I went, let's take Houston. Dumbass, when you're running in a pool near the top, that's a loss that you give away. Think about what you're doing. Don't be Cruz. So then we got to go out to the West. Kansas City's making the playoffs before. Now,
Well, they're going to win the division easy.
okay, that's not a problem. So do the everybody's favorite next door neighbor, the LA Chargers, can they make it? Or will Denver rise up?
Them and Denver. Well, I think Chargers, I would say for sure. I would put a guarantee on that they're making the playoffs.
I'm not going to be so sure because the Chargers have got a great record, but let's see who they beat and who they lost
down
to.
the stretch, they don't exactly have a tough record either. At Atlanta, at KC, okay, fine. Versus Tampa, versus Denver, at New England, at the Raiders.
Last two games are good for them, but they got to win a couple along the way. What's their
I think
record
they'll be
now?
fine. 7-4.
7-4. Ooh,
That's a good record.
That's a great record, but I still say it's a little bit bloated. Their defense is fine. What's his name? Hubert. They had one really good wideout.
I know.
One of those guys.
But they're one of those teams that they're strong in the trenches.
Very, both ends, and that's what's going to be there. But look, Baltimore just wore them down on Monday night.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing.
But they don't play very many Baltimores down the stretch.
And not only that, they play tough every game.
Yeah.
So we got to give them. So if anyone outside looking in on those teams, I'll lean towards the Chargers.
Yeah.
I'm a Harbaugh guy anyway. Got my Michigan national championship.
And Broncos just look like they're getting better and better every week.
Sean Payton's proven to be the better coach than everybody ever realized. Like, in that time, like, look at the disaster that Denver was. Since he got to
last year, they were a disaster. Dude, look at the turnaround in 1 year.
All you have to do is, and you know what? That salary cap thing didn't bite him in the ass as hard as everybody thought, and they get all that money back next year. So they can add players on. So it's good. Denver in the future, next year already, and we're not even started. Let's just say this. The AFC West could be the toughest division in football next year.
Could very well be.
When you think about it now, and look where the teams are trending. And the Raiders just need a quarterback. If the Raiders their defense is solid. You seen it yesterday.
Their offense, well, they have a lot of problems at offense, I'd say.
Like I said, they need a quarterback to start.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But everything else is just a mess there. So they're going to be done there. So it looks like if you're talking about the playoffs in the AFC, we're going to have Buffalo. We're going to have Pittsburgh. We're going to have Baltimore.
Yeah.
We're going to have
Houston most likely.
That's 4. Chargers and
Chiefs, Broncos.
Yeah, if the Broncos, you think, are going to rise up, Indy's got no chance. They got an easy schedule.
Indy, I think it's looking more and more like if they're going to make it, they're going to have to knock Houston out, which isn't the most crazy thing.
They can still make a wild card because look what's their record now. They're just one game.
5-7, yeah.
5-7.
But I think Broncos are looking better and better, so I think it's going to be tougher to knock them out than it is Houston.
And what's the Broncos now?
7-5.
7-5 too, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be tough for them to make it. Maybe the Broncos won't make it in. We're going to have to wait and see. It's been a great season so far.
Yeah, it has been.
Before we go, anything about the games last week that intrigued you or the games yesterday?
Yeah, so that crazy ending to the Dallas-Washington game.
I was hoping you would bring that up. Everybody that's seen that game, circle it. It's going to be 10 years before we see anything like that again.
Basically.
When do you see that? I've been watching football 50 years. I don't see another. What did they score? 28 points in the fourth quarter or something insane?
Well, how much we saw? What, a field goal and 2 touchdowns in the final 2 minutes
alone.
Like, what the fuck?
And the specialty teams were terrible on both sides. And to come all the way back in your kicker.
2 kick return touchdowts for the Cowboys in the final 3 minutes.
2. Now, that's what I'm talking about. One of them was because of that onside kick, but still, whatever the case may be, it is 2. But the bottom line is, the special teams made that game spectacular by being so off the charts on both ends of the ball.
Yeah.
That was absolutely crazy.
And Washington missed an extra point
That's what I'm saying. At the end, it's just going to kill him. KC, we got to start talking about KC. Like, they barely beat Carolina.
Here's the thing. I view them like I view New England from back in the day. They would just, they would always smoke teams. They would rarely cover, but they always find a way to win.
Okay, so I'm going to give you the benefit of a doubt, but always a time when New England was winning, they were the front runner in the end. Someone was trying to get at them.
That's KC right now.
Yeah, but KC's the one that seems to be coming from behind to do it. I mean, Brady's had a lot of fourth quarter comebacks. We know that. The bottom line is you got Patrick Mahomes. You're always in every game.
Yeah, and Patrick Mahomes also there records his 238th career passing touchdown, becoming the Chiefs' all-time leader.
And you know who the other guy was?
Oh, it's one of the old guys, isn't it?
Yes, it is. One of the great guys of all time with the crazy, we're going to matriculate it down the field. Hank Stram was a coach. Remember the famous thing from NFL films when Kansas City won the Super Bowl? And you're the coach? Oh, it's a famous line. We're going to take the ball and we're going to matriculate it down the field. And the quarterback was Len Dawson, who they beat his record. Len Dawson, he beat his record, yeah. But congratulations to Patrick Mahomes on that. Another thing I want to say about last weekend is you got to feel for him. That they're by, but we're going this week to think about it. What a waste of a season for Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. What a waste of a season. Nobody's really talking about Burrow. Tell me a quarterback in the league that's playing better than Joe Burrow right now.
There isn't one.
Exactly. He's playing his game.
Even a wide receiver better than Jamar Chase, I don't think there is one either.
I think Justin Jefferson is because he doesn't have Joe Burrow.
Fair enough. But the numbers Chase is putting up, come on.
Oh, but that's because he got Burrow thrown to him. And he's 7-11.
Always open.
Always open. But you know what? The thing is, Justin Jefferson has Sam Darnold thrown to him.
It's true.
You know what I mean? And he makes a lot of his own plays. He makes Sam Darnold look good. So
it's okay. He's going to have Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball next year.
The rumor mill. The rumor.
Brett Favre 2.0.
Here we go. One more time. But the bottom line is I always like Joe Burrow just because he's Joe Cool. All the weird things he does. His press conferences are off the wall. You don't know if he's really being straight up or not, but you can tell he's pissed.
Yeah.
He's pissed. Jamar Chase might even be more pissed. But this is a quarterback-receiver tandem having a season of all time, and they're not even going to get a sniff of the playoffs. What a sin. Any other observations from last week?
Bears are falling apart. 6 losses in a row, including that Thanksgiving Day one to the Lions. The first time in history they've fired their coach midseason. Eberflus done.
Okay, so let me just tell you, my wife can hear us upstairs. I was watching at the end of the Lions game. We were watching out at San Fran and stuff, and we jumped in the car coming back because I was out there. I had some legal shit to do, and I didn't want to be traveling. So, any event, we're coming home, and I said, this guy's had enough. She doesn't know anything about anything. I just said, this guy's had enough grief in the last 10 games that this is a fireable offense. And she said to me, well, he'd be fired over that. I go, if I was the owner, I'd have fired him already. But this
he should have been fired last offseason.
Okay, so now I'm just saying at plays like this, you got to fire the guy. And she goes, they just fire the guys for that? She doesn't know the whole whatever. And then she heard about clock management. He says, is this the worst time you've ever seen it? And I go, top 5. But in any event, I didn't even know about it. I was down here doing something, and then she goes, Chrissy, you were right. You were so right. And I go, what did I do now? And then it just came across her ticker. She seen it on something that said Eberflus got fired, but he deserved it. I'm not saying
this was a team with a 4-2 start. Now they're 4-8.
Wah 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 wah. They're in big trouble, and they'll be better next year. That'll make the division starting next year again. The NFC North will still be one of the toughest divisions. Detroit's got everybody under contract. Green Bay's got everybody under contract. Minnesota's got pretty well everybody under there, and Chicago's young.
Chicago needs to beef up that offensive line, though.
Of course, especially on the left side. Here they come. They scheme and they get at him. At least that Caleb Williams has learned to stay in the pocket a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's been very good the last couple weeks.
Yes, he has. He's learned. Not all that. So you got to start playing more pro than you do college, and it's looked well for them. Any other observations you've seen last weekend?
That's about it for me.
There was, what other game did I find was interesting? No, that's pretty well it. Everybody else seemed to be what they're doing. I'm still saying don't sleep on Tampa Bay.
Oh, and I told you the Chiefs wouldn't cover against Carolina last weekend.
I know.
You called it the easiest pick of the week.
Oh, come on. That's when I fooled myself again by trying it again against a division team on Turkey Day or Turkey Friday, which is whatever the case may be. But you live and learn. Just pick better this weekend, which should lead us to do that now because we're running late.
Yes, we are. So we'll get right to our Sunday picks against the spread. Like I said, we're both 2 for 4 so far on our Turkey Day / Black Friday picks. But either way, first up, the LA Chargers at the Atlanta Falcons. LA is favored by a single point on the road. I think the Chargers win it.
Taking Atlanta.
Whoa. Okay. I guessed your picks here too. I thought you'd go Chargers for sure because your boy Harbaugh.
I love that too. Did I even have that game down here? Why don't I have that game here?
Either way, Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. Cincinnati favored by 3 at home. I'm going to choose Pittsburgh to steal it on the road.
Who's favored?
Cincinnati by 3.
I'm taking Cincy.
I knew you would.
Mm-hmm.
Houston at Jacksonville. Houston's favored by 3.5 on the road. I'm going to choose Jacksonville to cover at home. Houston is historically awful at Jacksonville.
What's the spread?
3.5 Houston.
Wow, I thought it was 5.5.
Nah, maybe earlier in the week. But it's been going down.
I took Jacksonville to start with. Why not? Trevor Lawrence is coming back, and they're coming off a bye.
Yes, they indeed are. Arizona at Minnesota. Minnesota's favored by 3.5 at home. Give me the Vikings.
I'm going to say this again, and every time I say it, go bet against it. This should be the gimme pick of the week. What's the spread?
3.5.
Oh, it should be the gimme pick of the week.
I thought you'd go for Arizona, to be honest.
I was on their bandwagon until I seen them play last week, and I said, oh, come on, what's this bullshit, guys? You know what I mean? You got to put the wheels on the car before you start driving it.
Sure.
No, they were rough. They were most disappointing team I seen last week by far was Arizona.
I agree. Indianapolis at the New England Patriots. Colts favored by 2.5 on the road. Give me the Colts.
All day. All day. I feel sorry for you in New England. What are you saying about your coach saying what he's been saying?
What's he been saying lately?
Oh, I can't help you when you get on the field.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, that was because of some penalties. He's right. He's right there. Seattle at the New York Jets. Seattle favored by a single point on the road. I like the Seahawks.
I'm a sucker for punishment. I'm taking the Jets.
I knew you would.
Coming off a bye.
This was one of the tougher picks for me.
Mm-hmm. What's that? That game?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm taking the Jets at home coming off a bye.
I feel bad for you then.
Okay.
Tennessee at Washington. Washington favored by 5.5 at home. Give me the Commanders.
I'm taking Tennessee.
Wow. I don't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Carolina Panthers. I guess I did for both sports. Tampa Bay favored by 5.5 on the road. Give me the Bucs all day.
All day. All day.
LA Rams at the New Orleans Saints.
I thought this was a tough pick.
This is a tough one too. LA favored by 2.5 on the road. I'm going to choose the Saints.
I'm going to say that it seems to me the Rams, I hate because New Orleans, that Saints is still a home.
Ever since they fired their coach, they've looked better too.
That's what I'm worried about. But the Rams need this win more than New Orleans. So New Orleans ain't out of it in their division either compared to what it is. I'm taking the Rams.
I knew you would.
Thank you.
Philly at Baltimore. Baltimore favored by 3 points at home. This was another tough one, but I'm going to say Baltimore. I think the Eagles' run ends here.
I say Philadelphia to their march to the Super Bowl will beat Baltimore in their house.
Wow.
And that's a dangerous. I might change that when I put in my picks.
I know. I think Baltimore loses stupid games. I don't think this is a game they lose.
Lamar's 24-1 against the NFC.
That's true, too.
He's due to lose one.
Didn't he lose one already this year?
To who? What division they play? Okay, that's Philadelphia. No, they beat Dallas. They lose to Washington really, really early?
Let's see. I feel like they lost one early.
Because they'll be those 4 teams.
Oh, never mind. Oh, maybe they didn't. Oh, no, they lost. No, that's preseason. What? Maybe they didn't cover against Dallas early on. I think that might have been it.
Why? What's the score?
They lost 28, or they won 28-25.
Oh, yeah, that's when Dallas had the backdoor cover.
I think that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that was a backdoor cover.
Yeah, and then they beat Washington by a touchdown.
Yep.
Yeah, either way, I'm going Baltimore. I'm comfortable with that pick.
Okay.
San Francisco at the Buffalo Bills. Bills favored by 6 at home. Give me the Bills all day.
Yep, that's a good one.
And last but not least, Cleveland at Denver. Denver favored by 5.5 at home. Again, Denver all day.
It's in Denver?
Yeah.
I got to take Denver.
Let me double check, but I'm pretty sure it's in Denver. It's in Denver.
Oh, I thought it was in Cleveland. Okay, I got to go with Denver then. A mile high with the way they're running. Cleveland will have a little bit of down after their big win of beating Pittsburgh and Baltimore in a row.
Should be interesting. We are different for 5 of the games left here.
Well, here we go.
And we're already tied, so it should be make for a very fun Sunday. Sunday fun day, if you will.
And not only that, the house that happens, those pics are on that pool out there, so you got to, when it shows up, everyone asks me about that. I say I contribute. That's all I say about that. You know what I mean? But hey, guess what? That card's paid for.
Exactly.
That's all that matters right now, going down to the home stretch, which is very good. But any event, before we go, I just want to say this is when you talk about the time of year, which is just great for sports. Ever since Wednesday night going into American Thanksgiving, it's just a smorgasbord of games all over the place, which just makes me walk my dog and come right back home. You know what I mean? Yep. I'm loving the games. Most of the games have been pretty good on all sports except for NBA. Pull up your socks, please. That's all I got to say. You want me to keep watching? Pull up your socks. Anything else we want to talk about?
No trivia for this week. Do you have a gospel?
No, because we're going way too long.
Okay.
We're going way too long. We would like to thank Stanley for all the good, bad, and ugly that he provided in the show today.
He had the zoomies. Now it looks like he's got the itis. He's passed out.
That's a good thing to do. I was trying to get him here. I had him for a good walk before he get here. So he wasn't so bad.
No.
It was a little bit bad.
He had his moments, but it was mostly good.
You got it. He's the star of the show. You know what I mean? I hope you told Radica that as soon as you come in my house, I have representatives of the Montreal Canadiens in my hallway. Did you see what they are?
I did.
Did you notice what
I will let her know.
Did you see what it was?
Yeah.
Yopi and Lafleur.
Oh, there we go.
What a great, I took the other one out and I put it down. I brought it out on purpose. I said, oh, no, man, as soon as people come in the door, Habs. But the Yopi kills it. I appreciate that immensely, by the way.
So I want to ask you, what sports thing are you looking forward to the most this week?
This weekend?
This week, just in general.
The next Thursday night game, Detroit and Green Bay.
Ooh.
There's a hockey game coming up on Monday or Tuesday. I think it's Dallas and Vegas.
For me, it's the Four Nations rosters. Aren't you curious?
You know what? I'm going to be curious when they get on the ice and start playing.
Okay, but I love this stuff, like the naming the teams and all that. Like I can just eat that up.
I know you do, and I don't mind it. It's just that it drives me crazy. Maybe because it's older, and I just say, "Oh, come on, can we just wait?" But I have no say in that. It's marketing. It's gambling.
But again, Olympics is the same thing. They announce it at the same time.
Did they ever announce it this early too?
It's maybe like a couple weeks after, but it's always in December. Always.
Okay, we'll find out next year. But no, I'm looking forward mostly to the Detroit Green Bay. Because I could say a lot about the rest of the year for both teams. You know what I mean?
Jordan Love, turn it on. I need it for fantasy.
I bet you do. Anything else we'd like to bring to the table?
That's just about it.
Well, I just want to say I appreciate the fact that we're in the cozy confines of Cruz's Chaos. And this will probably be our establishment to record with for the next extended period of time.
Until Shoey's opens back up.
They're getting it or the weather changes. Because guess what, bro?
It's winter.
My hands aren't cold at the end of the show. My hands, true.
Mine either.
I got circulation in my hands.
So nice.
Isn't it? It's a beautiful thing. Shout out to Serge, though.
Shout out Serge. Big shout out Serge.
Yeah, we're still backing you. We just had to think of our health and safety. Yeah. Anything else?
Just like to thank you so much for listening. Give us a like. Give us a shout out. Give us a comment. We love you.
Big guy. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it immensely.
Absolutely.
By the way, my name is Cruz.
And I'm Andrew Milani.
And what do?
We keep the vibe alive. You can find The House That Happens on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeart Radio, Player FM, Samsung, Podchaser, Boomplay, YouTube, and SoundCloud. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at The House That Happens, and follow us on Twitter at House Happens. You can also shoot us an email at thehousethathappens@gmail.com.